once again right here at 7 a.m. just as promised. Mike from PA on screen. I mean, it's a little, fuck, it's early. Who the fuck else is up this early? No one. Welcome on in to the Central Committee Stream. We are live once again. It is a beautiful October 27th, 2025. Hope you guys had a good weekend. We are back. It is Monday. And what the fuck's going on, man? It seems like everybody is... seems like a lot of fucked up shit's going down, huh? But yet, in all of these cases, in this community, we were ahead of the curve. I've always been a Mizkif hater. In fact... it's oftentimes been something that people have been mad at me about because I went so hard against him when, you know, he helped cover up the slick shit or whatever the fucking guy's name is. There's so many weird slick guys that got to have a scandal. When we cover Emmy's experience, can we at least pin some resources from the hotline for folks who might be listening? Yes, Woke Militia. That's a good idea. Honestly, I kind of want to just pin your shit right away. And, you know, misogyny on Twitch is really, you know, it's also touched me and mine, you know, and I have been oftentimes a target as well. And you guys probably know that there's been a little bit of a tiff with me and a few of the few other streamers because of the way they've misogynistically abused VO as a way to get to me. And this kind of culture of misogyny on Twitch, it permeates even leftist spaces. And, you know, a lot, you know, for example, when Lolo first came out, you know, certain individuals were quick to dismiss it. Rhizo made smiling friends and SpongeBob, though. I mean, Grem's response to VO's video was crazy misogyny. I mean, listen, like, I didn't want it to be true, guys. Like, the thing is, I actually love when people are, when people grow, when leftist streamers grow. Liv Agar, Denims, Struggle 4. Like, there's so many people that, you know, formerly left flank vets, people that I love to see grow. And, you know, Maple Takes has been blowing up. I don't know if you guys have seen this. That's another guy that I appreciate. Like, I really appreciate, I love it when leftist streamers grow. Like, this is something that I have been excited to see. Like, look at these green arrows, folks. This is amazing. And he's actually somebody who cares about this shit. I thought Denims wasn't really my type of streamer. Denims and I have slightly different personalities, right? Slightly, you know, I am the, you know, I'm a subject matter expert on politics, you know, but we are a great team and friends. And I like to promote people. Like, this is the thing that is crazy, is it's like every single person who comes on Twitch as a leftist streamer and who is interested in my help gets it. I'm allergic to graphs. Sorry, can't look. It just means green. Chart going up for Maple Takes. Charts going up for Maple Takes. People using rhizome emotes. Yeah, I mean, I personally think it's really bad taste. You know, we covered it last stream. And, you know, I was a little passionate. And, you know, whenever you have, I've been silent on this for a while because I didn't want to make this a bigger thing than I thought it was. I thought it was, I don't know what. It was weird, but I didn't want to go after people and be like, hey, you guys are misogynistically attacking VO because you don't like me. And I don't know if it's, you know, I didn't know enough about these people. And that's my fault. Okay. Like, I didn't know enough about these people. They've been trying to worm their way in to, you know, my community for a while. And I kind of just accepted it. I accepted that people were coming and they wanted to work in solidarity, and Maple almost called himself Mike from CA. Hell yeah. You know, it's something that really bothered me is I couldn't understand why they were going after VO, why they were being so cruel, why they wouldn't just message her. And, you know, I have a decent amount of friends, chat. Let's just put it that way. You know, a lot of people come to me for advice We hang out, and I don't understand why people think that they could abuse Vio to get to me. And that was just so blatantly fucking misogynistic. And the thing is, Vio has gotten so much shit for being a left-wing person. She's not even making political content. She's just friends with left-wing people, and she holds left-wing values. And she has gotten so much shit. She got suspended for 30 days because of Ethan Klein, because she went on the Frogan panel, you know, and to abuse my trust, to abuse my friendship because you and go after Vio because you know they're my partner. Now, it's an open secret. It wasn't the strictest secret ever. But knowing that I didn't want to talk about it because, you know, I was worried about Ethan Klein. I was worried about these other, you know, Nazi communities, you know, going after her. So you could trash her and attack her and hurt me. I mean, it's just beyond the pale. I had to say something, and I got emotional, and I got a little heated, you know? And that's kind of, was great seeing Denev's cook him, though. He deserved that shit. I mean, it was pretty crazy. They were even telling Vio she needed to deal with her racism. She dealt with Austria because she's in America now. I mean, they called her a terrorist. You have a Muslim woman, and these leftists called her a terrorist for standing up for herself. They've been harassing her for months, and they've been calling her a thief and her artist a thief and an AI user. And you guys understand that if you're an artist and people are accusing you of using AI, that could destroy your career. And when I say they, I'm referring to the group, okay? I'm not trying to, you know, I've been referring to the group of people that have participated. I'm not referring to any individual to try to maliciously misgender them or anything like that, right? I'm using they as a plural pronoun in that sentence. And just like most people, when I try to address it, you know, I tried to give them rope. I don't know if you guys saw this, but on Tuesday, you know, I was fed up. I was frustrated. And I said, hey, there's some people out there that are doing really cruel stuff to Vio and to me, and I want them to please reach out. And they didn't. You know, they kept doing it. They kept talking about it. They kept abusing her openly. Who called her a terrorist? I think their name is Lex Updog. They called Vio a terrorist. A Muslim woman who's been targeted by Ethan. And then they said she was like Ethan Klein because she made a video. This was not a content nuke. This was her documenting her harassment. A person who was deplatformed by Ethan Klein for 30 days, they're saying is like Ethan Klein. Do you understand how bad faith these people are? I've been harassed by Ethan Klein. Vio has been harassed by Ethan Klein. None of these people have been harassed by Ethan Klein. And Vio making a video documenting the misogynistic harassment she's getting, they're saying that's like Ethan Klein. That's crazy. They called her hysterical. And I think a lot of it is just, it's a sad, you know, it's a sad of affairs that we live in where misogynistic harassment and like assuming, like, listen, with partners, you cannot assume, you cannot attack a woman because she's in a relationship with some other person, or you know what I mean? Like, what is this? And like assume that by going after her, you're going after him, and that she is responsible for everything he does when they're public figures. She was responding to the harassment with receipts. Chat, she had CVS amount of receipts. It's not even close to what she's actually has. These are just samples. She didn't want to make a 2-hour video going through every time they were harassing her. And you know, I do think it's interesting that you have a bunch of white men going after Vio, and you have prominent women in the space like Denims and Casey Tron telling them, hey, you're doing misogyny, hey, you're harassing her, hey, cut it out, and they just won't stop. You know, they claim to have a problem with me, but why? What did I ever do to any of these people other than be kind to them? I legitimately don't know what the fuck they're talking about. It's textbook misogyny. They view women as objects, so by being your partner, she only exists as an extension of you. Yeah, exactly. And like, it's just, you don't expect this in left-wing spaces. You don't expect this in left-wing spaces. And, you know, I legitimately, and it's one of those things is they've adopted a lot of the DGG and Ethan Klein ways of harassing me. One of the things they've tried to claim is that I'm jealous because they're not my friend. Now, I got to tell you guys something. This is going to sound mean. Not being friends with Cinemarxism and Gremlo is like something that I never even considered. Honestly, quite frankly, I don't give a shit. Like, no one is beating down the door to be friends with Cinemarxism and Gremlo. Like, no offense. No offense. If anything, I was trying to serve as a mentor role. Maybe they saw that as arrogant. I don't know. In fact, it was the opposite. They were trying to get to me through Vio, and they were hating from outside the club. They were literally hating from outside the club. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Now, I don't say this as a flex. It's just they're trying to use the Ethan Klein and AB. I made a tweet where I said, we have so much fun because I was at the BB No Money Will Neff party at TwitchCon. Vio recorded a video on her phone standing next to me at the party and posted it about, it was Caroline, eating it up on stage. And I saw Vio's post and I quote tweeted it. And I said, we just have so much more fun because people like, there's a lot of right wingers that were sitting at home, during TwitchCon. And AB and Ethan Klein said, what do you mean we? You weren't there. And it's like, I was literally there. So these people are pushing the same idea, like, oh, I'm mad I wasn't invited to the low B Airbnb. And it's like, listen, I've gone to that Airbnb before as a friend, as a supporter, right? Like, I don't give a shit about like I'll be honest with you, chat. I have more than enough people trying to be my friend, okay? Like this, it's not that big a deal. I've got a lot of my own friends. It's just like weirdly delusional high school brain. Like they have a small clique and they think they have the, I don't know. It's like, I can't believe this is how they think as 30-year-old people. My guess is a lot of their community have, because they're via DGG tratters, but also Cinemarxism is a wrecker straight up. I mean, like, I think wrecker is too simplistic. I think a lot of it has to do with like grandiose narcissism. Cinemarxism is a dude. He shouted him out. You accidentally misgendered. I don't want you to misgender anyone in the chat, by the way. And it's like one of those things that's really weird because like, I gotta tell you folks, like I don't know what they're on. I don't know what they're on. A very weird kind of experience of people kind of deciding to detonate their careers and their friendships because I don't know if it is envy. I don't know what it is. I was watching Cinemarxism one day and him and his guest called Hassan a white supremacist. He says that he said that I was a white supremacist and that I needed to be excised like a tumor when I got banned from the 11-month-old that they found. They dug up an 11-month-old clip. I no longer have the VOD to give context. They saw that I was reacting to Benjamin Netanyahu, and they decided to boost this as if I was anti-Semitic. And they did this, by the way, and I want you to understand, like, listen, I think the clip's bad, and I apologize, and I mean every word of what I said in my apology video, which you can see on my YouTube. I'm not taking any of that back, but it is odd for somebody who's supposed to be your ally to dig up an 11-month-old clip out of context and boost it while Lalo overruled is being outed and then try to redirect the energy on me. To direct the energy away from women and women's safety and women's voices to some irrelevant 11-month-old clip nobody knew about, nobody was talking about, that was taken out of context in order to try to, and that got me banned for a week. Possibly could have got me permanently deplatformed, because that people that are prominent pro-Palestinian creators, if anybody could call them anti-Semitic, they get permanently deplatformed. And this isn't leftist on leftist infighting, chat. I want you to understand, this is not leftist infighting. Leftist infighting is, I think we should support Zohran Mamdani. No, I think that he is too much of a sellout. That's leftist infighting, because you have people that are leftists fighting over politics, fighting over strategy, fighting over tactics. That's leftist infighting. This is not leftist infighting. This is interpersonal hatred. This is an attempt to go after me as a person so they can gain. That's opportunism. That has nothing to do with being left wing. This is not a disagreement over ideology. And I lost a significant amount of subscribers when I was banned. And, this is the primary way that I support myself and my family. We depend on my streaming income to survive. So when you force me out of my job for a week, possibly could have been more. And not one of them watched my apology. Not one of them was interested in my apology. So when I was banned for a week, I couldn't speak. They were happy to spread the idea that I was a racist, that I was an anti-Semite. Brett himself said that I should be excised like a tumor. And that's when I kind of was like, it was weird because, you know, then Denham's covered it and Caroline covered it and Hassan covered it and Noah Samson. And they all said what I thought everyone was going to say, which is, I've known Mike for years. This is obviously, it's a bad looking clip, but it's out of context. And I'm sure he'll explain it when he comes back. You know what I mean? That's what all of my colleagues did. But they were out there say, and again, this was distracting from what? Women coming out from Lalo Overruled. Lalo Overruled. Women were trying to come out and they hijacked it. White men hijacked it to try to take out, and like they hijacked it to try to cook up some bullshit. And so I'm not saying that what I did was okay. As I said before, go back, watch my apology video. I agree with that. I should have said be breaking without knowing the history of it or what it's, you know, what it's only 10 years old as a statement. It's not, it is like not really a thing that happened in so many words. There was a lot of systematic sexual abuse of slaves, but the concept be breaking was something that has come up on the internet in I think the last 10 to 15 years. It's almost like fan fiction. Okay. It's like a weird, there's this weird, like, Tariq guy who basically made a movie. Okay. And that's what people, know it from. Okay. Not to deny any of the atrocities of slavery. They were, sexual abuse was rampant. Okay. It's just that this specific term is not old. Okay. And I shouldn't have used it. I saw Stavros using it with Adam Friedland joking. I saw it like 2 weeks before that. It was in the back of my brain somewhere. And, you know, I yelled at a chatter who was saying that we should surrender to centrist Democrats, right? And I was like, no, we shouldn't. So like, this is the thing that really frustrates me is I am generous and friendly to people and I don't expect things back. I really don't. You know, like when I support Maple Takes, it's not because he's going to raid me a bunch. It's just because, oh, this is what I've been looking for. A Canadian streamer who knows and interacts with Canadian politics, not American. A fellow leftist who's actually trying to do leftist politics in Canada, not just being a tourist in America. What a fucking W. Yes, he covers American politics because it affects Canada. But at least he's a Canadian who's trying to do shit in Canada. That's what I've been looking for, not just being a tourist and grifting off of American politics. You know what I mean? So I support him not because I'm getting anything from him, but because I want that kind of person to succeed. And I believe that rising tides on the left will lift all of our boats. I think one of the main things that has happened is there has been a clique formed. And if you study a lot of leftism, if you read a lot of theory, cliques, opportunism is a massive danger because all of us are ambitious. All of us want to do well. All of us want to be recognized. But your mind could very easily slip into an us versus them cliquish mentality. And that's what's happened with a lot of those streamers is that they've formed a clique. Maybe it's because, you know, of mutual advantage. Maybe they are friends. I don't know what the fuck is going on with them. I can't understand the streamers who are fence-sitting Vio's harassment. It's pretty, I mean, this is why misogyny is a problem, even in leftist space. Vio was harassed horribly because she was my partner and they were trying to get to me by attacking her. And they even say it. We don't have to rewatch the video. We watched it again. But I think that this is, you know, the continuation of how comfortable they are. And like, I want to cover the Emiru situation because it is really fucking bad. It's really bad, and it is indicative of these spaces. It's not just among these people. It is indicative. Even in your workplace, hell yeah, dude. That is, and I hope you stand out and you speak out. You absolutely should stand against it. It's genuinely hypocritical. They give conditional solidarity. Well, that's why it's click. That's why it's a click. I was speaking with my friend Yagopnik, and we just didn't. We are just flabbergasted. I'm flabbergasted, honestly. You know, it just doesn't make any sense. Why are what are they thinking? What are they thinking? You know, there's a word that's massively overused called a woke scold. Okay, it's a vastly overused. But on social media, there is an incentive you could get attention by woke scolding someone that's more popular than you. And what do I mean by woke scolding? What is different from accountability versus woke scolding? Accountability is about care. for the victims of a person, but also for that person's personal growth. Like, if you're trying to hold me accountable, you should be trying to call me in and show solidarity with me and go, Mike, I know your heart's in the right place. I know you're a good person. I know you are a friend. I know you are a comrade, but here's where you're falling short. And here's the effects of your behavior. This is rehabilitation. But these people have a very putative, and let me just put it this way, right-wing mindset that I found the reason why a person is bad, and this is why they're trash, and they need to be thrown into the wolves, and they need to be abused, and they need to be ostracized, and they need to be, everything they have done needs to be colored as if it is because I found one thing that I could get a clip of and post on social media and get a lot of likes. That kind of behavior is right wing. It's inherently right wing, but you get incentivized for it. I talk about this all the time. It's called the drama sugar high. People get involved in drama. They get a lot of attention in the short term, and then they become addicted to that because they haven't built their own community. And so they see how big their numbers are when they're in drama, and then they get addicted to it. And they start deciding, I'm going to be the drama guy. I'm going to be the person who holds people accountable. Who elected you, woke king? Who elected you, king of the internet? Who elected you, judge, jury, and executioner of the internet? And so I don't like that kind of shit. I don't like that kind of shit. But I think a lot of streamers who otherwise don't have much to offer can get a sugar high by engaging in that kind of behavior. When you look at the emotes side by side, it's so obvious they were not stolen. Anyone try to push that after seeing the side by side as being bad faith? Yes. For the 11-month-old clip, you didn't apologize to them. You apologized to us, the socialist movement, for letting them abuse your words effectively. Yes, exactly. It's in my apology. Go watch my apology. None of them were interested. None of them were interested. It's the first thing I did. I dedicated my whole stream. What's this?
Around calling you a racist because I know you're fundamentally anti-racist. I don't think I've called Mike a racist. Maybe I have. I think when I talked about Mike in the most in-depth way, I was watching those clips.
He's just lying.
And I was saying...
he's lying. Of course he did. Of course he did. I don't have the clip because I don't care about Marxism. But he's just lying. Of course he did. Punishments versus learning. The appeal is that those that do not have understanding and so can't help learn can pretend they are a knower by feeling justified in inflicting punishment, imitating the parental figure who inflicted that injustice upon them as a child. Cycle continues. Actually, that's a really good way of putting it. What is with my chatters either having the best ever first messages or like the worst ever first messages? You're right. You're right. To be honest, maybe Vio did take inspiration from Rhizome. No. See, what you're having is you're doing selection bias. I said this before, but let me just do this real quick. There's a website called Twitch Metrics where you can look at everybody's emote. Vio has 153 emotes. Okay. Rhizome has 84. Like, she has a lot more emotes than him. Like, just picking out emotes and going, oh, look, we have these similar emotes she stole from me. She's got a lot more than you, bro. Like, you're just doing selection bias. You're selecting the emotes that they have in common and going, look how she copied them, but they're not the same. Like, they're completely different. They're not in any way the same. And the point is, nobody really cares about emotes. It's not about emotes. It's about attacking Vio to get to me. It's about attacking Vio because they know that Vio was my partner and it was an open secret and that she's a smaller streamer and she's vulnerable. So it will hurt me. And it's a way of attacking us and discrediting us because we're together and we socialize together. And the more you kind of make Vio persona non grata, the more you're hurting me, right? That's sick. That's fucking sick. That's sickening. And when I heard they were doing it in person, which they denied at first, then they said they weren't there. Then they said that they did do it. When I heard they were defaming Vio in person to mutual friends of mine, I had enough. You know, I had enough with it and I decided to speak out because it's misogynistic. And Vio was crying because of that. I'm sorry, it's not okay. So these people have fucked with my livelihood, falsely mischaracterizing me as a racist and an anti-Semite, and then they harass my partner, and then they're like, which justified because Mike doesn't do enough to help us grow. Absolutely fucking disgusting. Absolutely fucking disgusting. And I'm sorry, chat, but if you keep fucking with those people, I'm going to withdraw from you a bit. Because how could you see someone abuse someone like Vio? Like, you could not like me, because sometimes I'm abrasive, sometimes I'm loud, sometimes I get, I get aggressive. I can understand just being like, I've had enough of that for the day. Like, that makes sense to me. Sometimes, it is what it is. We all different strokes for different folks. Or maybe you really like how analytical I am, how much I bring the receipts, how much I bring the facts, the in-depth nature of my analysis, my education experience in law and politics. Maybe you're angry too, and it's good to have someone vent with, There's a lot of reasons to like my stream. But like ultimately, we have a situation of blatant misogyny happening in a leftist space, and I'm not going to let it slide. I'm not going to let it slide. And I hope that you don't let it slide. There was one thing I wanted to show from Gremlo's stream because it was so unacceptable that I wanted to show it to you because it's bad shit. Is this the clip? Maybe you could send me the clip, guys. Some people just don't have... I'm looking for the clip of Vio where Gremlo says Vio is a hysterical liar. I don't know why it's your responsibility to grow other streamers' brands. It's not, but you all do this, do it all the time anyways. Well, I don't know how to put this. It's hard to be a streamer, okay? It's hard to be a streamer. It really is hard to be a streamer because you are completely on your own. You are a small business person, 1099, and if you're trying to dedicate full-time hours to it, it's a lot of work to make ends meet. Now it's like any other business. It's like if you want to be a fucking piano player, I'm sure that's hard to be a piano player too. I'm sure it's hard to be an actor. I'm not saying it's a hard job. I'm saying it's hard to make the job work financially. And if you see somebody like myself, the thing is, there's an old saying that familiarity breeds contempt. I think part of the mistakes that I made is I made myself so familiar to people and so accessible to people. And I would always elevate them as an equal. I never look down on people. I don't look down on people because they don't have viewers or whatever the fuck. I think that's weird. But then it started to become a feeling of entitlement. Entitlement to me propping them up, me helping them grow. And I think a lot of entitlement comes from narcissism, right? Where you have a grandiose opinion of yourself, and so you feel that others should be elevating you. I'm sorry, I can't. I need the hold on. I'm not a subscriber. I don't think I can see that. This is the part where he calls her hysterical.
Bother watching my video, okay? Yeah, I didn't bother watching you go on a hysterical...
So Vio says, that's not the only thing I talked about. You didn't bother watching my video, okay? Nah, I didn't lie.
Scree for 8 hours. You didn't bother watching my video 8 hours. Don't fight my battles. What happened? And you lied about it for 8 hours. You didn't bother watching my video, okay? Yeah, I didn't bother watching you go on a hysterical scree for 8 hours. Instead, you and Mike could have just reached out to us.
Okay, so I want you to understand, chat. We could have reached out to them because they were secretly, in their words, I'm sorry, not secretly, privately, slandering VO to as many people as they could about how she was stealing their emotes and that I'm a bad person because of X, Y, and Z. And I want you to understand, chat, that I've gone out of my way to help people and put in extra hours just to help smaller streamers where I got absolutely nothing in return. Absolutely nothing in return. And here this guy, he holds himself out as a safe place. I'm not safe, right? Because what people are saying, like white leftists, like how many white leftists are there on Twitch? How many white leftists are there on Twitch? Me, Yagopnik, Maple Takes, like who the fuck are you talking about? And it's just like, if you're talking about random chatters, they could just be shitters. If a random chatter says something, that's not me. That's not Hassan saying it. Hassan isn't white. Hassan is not white. I want to clarify this for everybody. Caroline is not white. Hassan is not white. Okay? Yes, they have privilege. Yes, Hassan occasionally passes as white. But he is an openly Muslim man named Hassan in a very Islamophobic time. He is not getting white privilege. Okay? Like, come on. And I think it's honestly Islamophobic to say he's white. Okay? To downplay the Islamophobia that he gets. That's batshit. It's batshit. He's Turkish. Okay? He is from a family of immigrants. And like, I'm sorry, but to see Gremlo say that Vio's being hysterical and that she has an obligation to reach out to him because he was okay with her being lied about, that's crazy. And then to call her hysterical and refuse to listen to what she's saying. I'm sorry, Vio is an MB, femme presenting, immigrant, Muslim woman. And to say that Gremlo, the white man from the deep south and former Nazi or racist, whatever he says, has an obligation to reach out to her while he's bad-mouthing her, that's fucking nuts. And hysterical is like the old misogynist term. It's not okay, guys. It's not okay. This is fucking not okay. Someone said it best, Hassan is conditionally white. No, I know Hassan says this shit, but I'm going to go ahead and say that this is leftist brain rot. This is leftist brain rot. It's where leftists who are in our left-wing bubbles and in our academic, scenarios, and we're examining privilege and we're examining, whiteness, and we're examining this shit, and we're trying to be honest about colorism and all sorts of other very important factors, where it gets flattened down to Hassan is white, you have lost the plot. You have lost the plot. You are flattening what is a nuanced intellectual discussion about colorism and racism and privilege and Islamophobia, and you've dumbed it down to where it's just dumb. You don't know what you're doing. And this is why it's important that you don't support streamers that are misogynistic, that are white and then say Hassan is white. That's fucking crazy. It's one thing for a person of color to discuss how Hassan has certain privileges that he sometimes passes. The privileges of being lighter skinned in our society. That is completely valid. But for a white man from the deep south to say that Hassan is white is fucking that shit as a way of like trying to criticize him. That's fucking batshit. I'm sorry. I'm tired of seeing white people call non-white people so that they could criticize them. It's absolutely unacceptable. A certain subreddit is calling Valkyrie white. People look different on cam versus in person. People think I'm white from my profile pic, but one time I met a streamer in person, like, oh, I thought you were white, and I'm 50% Indian. Hassan is not white, but he looks white. He can pass as white. But the point is that whiteness is not like that. It's not a binary where you're just like, oh, this person's white, therefore they have privilege, therefore I could, criticize them as part of the like majority that's doing the oppression. And it's like, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to flatten what is a nuanced discussion into a single term so that they have the right to criticize Hassan unreservedly. It is fucking wrong. It is fucking wrong to say that Vio is white. She grew up in Austria as a Persian Muslim woman, an MB, femme presenting MB, where she was called Auslander. And because her German, she learned German in school, and around her peers, it was a little bit more like High German. She didn't have the same necessarily Austrian slang and accent. And so she was treated like a foreigner. She was, say, where are you from? Because of her dark hair and olive complexion. Not the ruddy red, white, blonde, and blue-eyed of your archetypical Austrian. We all know. She experienced discrimination throughout her from right-wing Austrians. And just to call her white over emotes, it's unbelievable. It's disgusting. And I think if you could overlook this and they double down, they don't apologize. They double down. Now, when I made my mistakes, I took accountability. I apologized. I told you guys it wasn't okay. I corrected those of you who disagreed with me. These people are doubling down on their abuse and their misogyny. I don't want to make this my stream forever, chat. We're going to be talking about politics. We're going to talk about the Emiru shit. But I just want you to understand that these people have not apologized to Vio. They're doubling down. They've increased their attacks against me and her. And I don't think you can overlook that. I don't think you can fence sit that. It's not okay. It's not okay. And the misogyny on Twitch and the misogyny in left-wing spaces is not okay. Why is Cinemarxism and Gremlo involved in this? I don't know why Gremlo decided to call Vio a hysterical liar. I don't know why he did that. All you wanted from them was an apology. Now they are saying, why are you bringing it out into the open? Yes, they wanted to... They think it's okay to badmouth people, to backbite, to slander, to undermine, to otherize, as long as the viewers don't know. As long as the viewers don't know. And I don't think that's fucking okay. I don't want to be in a left-wing space with this kind of behavior. Did you already play the Gremlo clip? Yeah. You call it Vio a hysterical liar. People like Mike is exactly like people don't like the inner left. This is what goes on in their chat. Not gonna lie, Mike in his chat misgendered Eden multiple times, and then he was like, oh, sorry, she. No, they did not. No, they did not. No, my chat did not. And if they did, they got banned. People get banned and they get timed out if they do. Like, this is just lies. And what I said at the time, by the way, chat, just to clear this idea up, this is what I said. Here's a clip from me. People saying, oh, you might have misgendered someone. This is what I said immediately. I inadvertently misgendered someone or said guy or man or something like that. Like, that was a total accident. I was just want to apologize. If there was any accidental misgendering, I believe I corrected myself. I may have said something about pedon. I may have said they instead of she. Because sometimes I'll use the term they in language. So I just want to apologize if I did anything like that. I don't intentionally misgender anyone. If I misgender, it's just because I'm old and I misspoke. Like, come on. Come the fuck on. Like, come the fuck on. Do you guys want to live in a leftist space where you accidentally use they instead of she or he, and then everyone says that you're intentionally misgendering and they're trying to call you a transphobe? Like, what the fuck is this? This is an attempt to demonize. This is an attempt to otherize. Like, what is going on with these people? What is going on with this clique of people? And I don't know what to say.
Saying I'm lying? Yeah, Vio. I am saying you're lying. I am saying you're lying because those screenshots of people in Mike's, or sorry, not Mike's chat, in Rhizome's chat saying, yeah, I feel like that's a little fucked up. That's not harassment. That's in his chat, to which he said, do not go and give her grief about this. Do not go into their chat and give them any kind of bullshit about this. Don't.
By the way, speaking of lying, Gremlo is a liar. And it's the clown clique hates Mike. Actually, funnily enough, the clowns, the professional clowns, love me. That's the thing that's weird. It's like there is a troupe of clowns that I adore. And they were hanging out with them. And they were helping them put on clown makeup to do a clown show. There's a group of professional clowns. I respect clowns. Clowns are people who, that's like a serious comedic art form. We use the term clown to make fun of people. But no, I know a troupe of actual professional clowns who are leftists, and they're great. And they were hanging out with them at TwitchCon that night that they were shit-talking me and Vio. Isn't that crazy? And they were all wearing clown makeup as they did it. You can't make this up. You cannot make this up. They beclowned themselves, literally.
Fight my battles. That's what happened. And you lied about it for 8 hours. You didn't bother watching my video, okay? Yeah, I didn't bother watching you go on a hysterical scree for 8 hours. Instead...
So this is what happens when you come out as a femme-presenting person on the Twitch leftist space and say, hey, one of your friends has been lying about me. One of your friends has been harassing me. It's been going on for months. Here's a video I made documenting it with all the receipts and how it's affected me. And here I also disprove the accusations that the emotes were stolen. Who gives a fuck about Pepe emotes? But they're not even stolen, which is the crazy part. Even if she did steal them, the amount of harassment she's getting is insane. But she didn't steal them. They're all original drawn pieces from Pepe's that have existed for years. This is what happens when Gremlo is called out and when people try to bring accountability to his doorstep and say, hey, and by the way, in the video, she says, I know Gremlo doesn't know because one of Gremlo's head mods was harassing Vio in many chats. And actually, in the video, it says how they're planning on doing it to the artist wherever they go. And he called her a liar. He called her a liar, which he's documenting the behavior. And this, I only bring this up, and I understand, this isn't good for me, chat. This isn't good for me. Do you think it's good for me to call these people out and hold them account, to defend women, to defend against misogyny, to defend, do you think it's good for me to call other left-wingers out? It never is. Every single time I've called out a left-winger, I've lost viewers. I've lost followers. It's not good for me to do this. This is not about me doing this for my career. I'm standing for what's right. I'm not going to let my partner be harassed misogynistically and make them guilty for, if they have problems with me, that's one thing, but to harass Vio about it and try to harass Vio to get to me, that's fucking insane. And it's not okay. And it hurts me to come out and say this. It hurts me to come out and say that misogyny is alive and well in some of these white male spaces. And it didn't matter that Casey Tron told them that this wasn't okay. It doesn't matter that Denims told them, apparently Denims told them that yesterday, that it wasn't okay. How many women need to come out and tell you it's not okay before you apologize, Gremlo? Instead, they're doing click behavior. They're demonizing us. They're doing Darvo, which is deny. Then they get called out with facts. And then then their story changes. And then they go on the attack. And it's like, well, Mike's actually a super racist. I always knew he was a super racist. Wait a minute. You were pretending to be my friend a week ago. What happened? Because you got called out for your bad behavior. And when I got called out for my mistakes, what did I do? Did I double down? Did I call you guys liars? No, I said, hey, that clip was bad. I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. And I got to do better. And I apologize. It's not that hard. But instead, they're going nuclear. And it's like, at a certain point, you have to pick a side. Either you're on the side with people that are honest and heartfelt and care about leftism and don't just see this as a career to make money. You don't see me trying to cosplay fucking a pirate. You know, you don't see me doing Jack Sparrow cosplays and try to be voice actors. I only care about one fucking thing, and that is goddamn politics. Okay? I'm not trying to be famous. I'm trying to get my ideas out there because I honestly and truly believe that these are the ideas that are going to make this world a better place for everyone. I'm not posting my Gambit cosplay that's been altered for a person who's 5'3". Okay? Honestly, I would say that he should cosplay Wolverine, but I don't know that he's tall enough. Okay? I don't know, Mike, going into other chats, talking shit, he was trying to stay in his lane. Huh? When have I done that? When have I done that? I only go into other chats to be kind. I don't go into other people's chats to talk shit. Like, what the fuck? And I think one of the things that happens, and like, listen, I know that I'm being passionate and I'm being heartfelt and I'm not happy. I'm sad. But I think a lot of people, you know, I have seen this happen before where there was another creator who got to like 5, 6, 7, 800, 900, 1,000 viewers. And they started to think of themselves as the next big thing and that I'm in their way. And then they start trying to fight with me. They start trying to trash me. They start trying to create interpersonal fights with me. And it doesn't work out on the left. People don't like that, man. They don't even like when I'm right. Vio is a victim, an innocent victim who's done nothing but be harassed for being left wing. Vio has been harassed for years just for being left wing, even though her content isn't politics. Because she stands up for women. She stands up for trans people. She stands up against the culture of Twitch. And she has been doing it for fucking 5, 6, 7 years. And she's been harassed. She got banned because she was on the panel, the Sabra panel, for 30 days. Not one of these people reached out. Not one of these people tried to help her. And now they're calling her a hysterical liar. I mean, it actually brings tears. It actually makes me sad. It actually makes me sad. It actually bums me out. I don't want to fight with people. I think people see me yelling at establishment Democrats or right-wingers, and they think, oh, that means Mike's mean, right? Oh, Mike is yelling at somebody, arguing in favor of you know, DGG or Asmongold, or Mike is getting really passionate talking about the centrist Democrats betraying the left and working with corporate donors, and that they think that means I'm yelling at, like, I'm mean in my personal life or I'm mean to other people. I'm completely like that. It's crazy. And they know that, which is why they felt comfortable doing what they're doing. They thought I wasn't going to stand up for myself. They thought that they were going to be able to do this kind of thing, harass me in VO, and that we'd be intimidated. Brett and Denim's stream was insanely cringe. Does anybody have clips from Denim's stream yesterday? Because I don't want you to think this is just me, my take. I watched, whenever I make a mistake, I tend to look at my friends, Caroline, Denim's, for their takes on what happened. Like, and Casey Tron. I go to the women in the space. I go to the femme presenting people who are not white. Well, except for Casey Tron. But she's so white, she's like wrapped around into non-white because she's like translucent. Okay? That's a joke. That's a joke. But you get my point. Like, I go to the women in my life and I say, hey, am I fucking up? Hey, my friends. Because I understand that women are not going to let you get away with bullshit. But they also have compassion and empathy. Now, maybe I'm being a misandrist. Maybe I'm being a misandrist here by saying when I make a mistake, I go to women to try to figure it out, and femme presenting people and my MBs and my like, maybe I'm being misandrist by saying I don't trust white men. Dedham said, don't be misogynist. Brett said, Mike bad, so Vio deserves it. Jesus. I hope someone could send me a clip of that, because that would be very instructive. That would be really useful if I had that clip. And it's just like,
surprise, surprise, you would have seen the messages that she shows that show that she was getting harassed in other people's chats. I don't have the timestamp on hand, but
like hold on. Like, as she's scrolling, when you see boiled peanuts. Oh, by the way, chat, these are the emotes that they're saying Vio stole. You notice how every single one of them, either Vio created the first one, ironically, or they are long-term memes. And honestly, I mean, if we're talking about lazy emotes, I think taking a Pepe and using the paint tool to change it a slightly different shade of greenish blue is a lot more lazy than making your own completely new character and hand animating it. Pepe, like, the entire reason why we have Pepes is because people were riffing off of Pepe. Like, it's crazy. What the fuck is wrong with people? You'd think holding leftist values would impart some kind of better moral ideology, but narcissism is too dense to penetrate. Okay, listen, I'm not going to try to be a therapist and diagnose them, but I think one of the things that you are seeing is cliquish behavior. And this is something that has been a problem in the left for a long time. Like, it's been something that socialist leaders have been worried about for a long time. Opportunists. And like, this is people that use leftist language to advance themselves personally. And let's be honest, if you want to be a Twitch streamer and the only thing you want is to make money being a Twitch streamer, and you get an opportunity and you see, oh, well, if I just pretend to be a leftist, I could do a show talking about leftist stuff. I mean, it is reality. The emotes thing is so unserious. I doubt Rhizome is actually upset. He's just needed to invent something to be outraged at. Well, here's Brett's chat log from Saturday. All these chats happened while she was asking him to address Vio's harassment. Any comments on this harassment? Okay, so I think they're showing chatters. So Tofu Ghost, who I have always tried to be friendly with for years now, came into my chat and basically said, you know, they were really aggressive. They were really emotional and really aggressive, and the chatters reacted. I could bring it up, but I don't need you guys to bully her, okay? Like, just leave Tofu Ghost alone, all right? There's vastly more connection between Mike and Vio in this than there is between Grem and his moderator, which I guess is the only way he's connected at all. He literally called Vio hysterical liar. He connected himself. Well, first he was connected because he got to a group of people and he co-signed Rhizome's harassment of Vio in person. That was personally testified to me that he did that. And I was very offended. And then I found out more things where he's always been like, he's been hyper fixating on my numbers for years, and he's been envious of my numbers for years. And he's called me clout from PA for showing support for other creators when they were going through it. So like, I found out about that shit and then I was bothered by it. Mike attacked him and slandered him for 5 hours before the video was even released, but okay. Because I knew what he was doing. What do you want me to say? And Grem refused to watch the video, which would have made it very hard to keep pushing the theft narrative because he doesn't care about the facts. It's about a click carrying forward this harassment. And again, I gave them the weekend. I gave them the weekend to speak, chat. I gave them the weekend to demonstrate that I was wrong. To demonstrate that I was overreacting, that they don't have it out for me and Vio, that they're not hostile, that they aren't abusive, that they aren't misogynistic. And instead, they went all in on attacking us. If you remember from my streams, you guys were here. I said, hey, there's an olive branch. I'm offering you an olive branch. And instead, they went on the attack. They doubled down. They denied. And then they admitted, proving exactly what I've been saying, which is like, again, and here's the thing. A lot of these people come from, as you know, I showed you guys on Friday that Grumlow has been supporting people that have threatened to kill me. Like, I didn't really even know that until all this shit went down. That's fucking insane. Like, that's fucking insane. And he ignores that. Bad Empanada had a video about it. He had a video about it. It's like Bad Empanada Bo. He made a video. It was, fuck, what's the video? It's not this one. Dispositive Bo the fifth column human trafficking. Dispositive evidence that Bo the fifth column is a human trafficker. Fuck, it's none of these videos. Oh, here we goes. Here we go. Embarrassing streamer defends human trafficking. This YouTuber is a human trafficker. No, oh man, there's like, is that the video where he threatens me? No, it's the soy Funko Pop guy. Does anyone have that video? Why the fuck can I not find anything today? I'm searching, search L's for me. The difference between, listen, Lancer the Surfs, big L on this one. But you know what? He came to me and we apologized. And we talked at TwitchCon Amsterdam. And he said, you know, Mike, I was completely wrong. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I was in a clique. I fucked up. I apologize. Okay, someone found something for me.
How do you not condemn this behavior? How do you not condemn these words? Like, you can like Gremlo, you can think the attacks against him are unfair, but how do you not condemn this shit? Like, this is fucked up. Like, no leftist should be fucking saying this. No leftist should be saying, I'm not gonna VO.
Don't fight my battles.
Never get fucking listened to, and they get called hysterical banshees all and say, well, they're really connected, so you can put them in the same box. Effectively, what
I want to get to the beginning of this.
There's vastly more connection between Mike and VO in this than there is between Grem and his moderator, which I guess is the only way he's connected at all. That is like, sorry, two things. This is insane to me. That you would just like admit it and say, well, they're really connected, so you can put them in the same box. Effectively, what is what you're saying. I'm sure you'll say, well, that's not what I'm saying, but effectively, that's what you're saying. Because you're misunderstanding this conversation to be me defending Mike's actions in attacking Gremlo. But we haven't even talked about that. The only thing we've talked about, you don't even know what my position is. My position could be that I fucking hate Mike, and I think what he did was completely fucked up and wrong. You are just assuming that position. My position is...
The thing about Denims is like, I try to keep Denims honest, and Denims tries to keep me honest. Because that's what solidarity is. We have each other's backs, but we also hold each other accountable. But we call each other in if we feel like we're making a mistake. We don't go out of there and go, aha, I always knew Denims was not a real leftist because she made a mistake. Like, can you imagine if I did that? That would be fucking batshit. Do you think that's solidaristic? Here's the Funko Pop threat. Okay, yeah, this will be the next thing I want to show you. This is what Gremlo is okay with promoting, by the way.
Is only based on the fact that women never get fucking listened to, and they get called hysterical banshees all the time for having complaints about getting harassed on the platform.
About this.
This is unacceptable behavior.
Into their chat and give them any kind of bullshit
to say,
about this.
VO, you are lying. Yes, I am saying you are lying, VO.
Don't fight my battles. What happened? And you lied about it. 8 hours.
I'm not trying to defend Grem with this, but is it really fair to say he's not a leftist, socialist, whatever? Rhizome, I could understand it. I agree. Grem is an a-hole idiot for what he said and done, but that's just me. I think that if you're this misogynistic with this many people trying to get to you and be like, bro, you're being misogynistic, at a certain point, like, you have to step back and go, wow, he really doesn't care at all about misogyny. He really doesn't, like, he's doubling and tripling down and screaming at an abuse victim, a harassment victim, that she's a liar. Like, that's to his audience of used to be thousands of people. That's bad shit. When she was saying, hey, I have the receipts, here are the receipts, she wasn't just making a blatant accusation with no facts to back it up. VO put together a video because she wanted to be heard, and she wanted to make sure that everyone understood that it wasn't just accusations. She knew that people don't believe women. Trust me, VO knows that people will not just believe women. So she put together a video of the harassment, of the facts, and they said, fuck you. We don't even care that you have the facts. You're a liar. We're ignoring your facts. We're ignoring your evidence. That is, I mean, I'm sorry, man, but you cannot claim to be a safe place for marginalized people if a marginalized creator comes to you with the facts and you refuse to show them to your audience because it's bad for your narrative. And then they call her Ethan Klein Jr. because she made a video. She was harassed by Ethan Klein. She was banned for 30 days by Ethan Klein. And these motherfuckers are using Ethan Klein to defame her. Like, that is unbelievably disgusting. I'm sorry, guys. Like, before this, I was mad. But now, I'm done. Before, I thought maybe they were just in their heads and, you know, maybe they were a little envious, or maybe there was some sort of slight that I didn't know and I thought we could fix it. That's why I kept offering fucking olive branches, even on Friday. I was there with an olive branch. But at a certain point, like, if this is okay with you, then, I mean, I'm sorry, but you should check yourself. And yeah, I'm impassioned about it because it is my partner. I am biased. I hope you would be biased toward your partner as well. But to use the fact that Vio and I kept our relationship as an open secret, but I didn't try to trumpet it. So many people harass me, calling me an incel and things like that. So I don't want my partner to be under their scrutiny. You know what the fascists would do? And it's a foregone conclusion now. They forced it out into the open because they were attacking me. And they know that Vio is a lawful immigrant to this country. And some chatter once said that, you know, said ICE and Brett. Is Brett going to call ICE on Vio? And now Brett is saying we said that. Now he's going around spreading that. Again, elevating Vio's immigrant status in the middle of a fascist crackdown. An NB Muslim woman immigrant, you're elevating this shit during a crackdown. I'm sorry, guys. I don't care what someone says. This is what they're doing to a real life person. And do you think like Denims is practically screaming at the top of her lungs, hey, you're doing a misogyny. Hey, stop it. You're doing misogyny. Please stop it. They won't listen. Don't listen to me. Say that I'm biased. But here's Denim saying it, screaming it at the top of your lungs. Stop it. Stop it. What are you doing? Stop it. You're hurting people. And they won't stop. They think they're right. They think we're not human beings anymore because we're outside their group. Classic us versus them. Classic fascist brain rot. I don't know if it's they've stared too much into the abyss that now they've adopted it, or they just dehumanized me and Vio so much because we're in their way in their mind and they have their goals and they need to take us down to achieve them. I don't know. I don't know. But even through all of this, I was saying, hey, just reach out. Let's be chill. But I'm sorry, guys. Like they said, not only did they say no, they said, fuck these people. That's unbelievable. And I want you to know, when I got banned, chat, when I got banned, when this clique found an 11-month-old clip to boost to DGG and Asmongold, and eventually through their bot networks, Twitch had to ban me. Even though we all know I'm not anti-Semitic and I didn't mean anything anti-Semitic by the clip, it was old and out of context, but I still apologize because I really do think I fucked up there. And I stand by my apology 100%. So don't think that I'm like backing from my apology. I'm not. I still believe every word. But when I made my apology, did they watch it? They called me unsafe. They called me racist. They called me anti-Semitic. I made my apology. Did they watch it? Did they care? No. They spread a slander about me, and then they ignored it. They ignored my apology. They ignored my growth. They ignored and now now they're doing this shit to Vio, and they're doubling down. I'm sorry, guys, but if you fuck with these people after this point, you don't like me, and you hate me. Really, you hate me is really what it's about. You don't even see me as a human being worthy of consideration, or Vio. And I don't know how to take that. It's hard for me to look at somebody ignoring this shit and think that I'm safe around you. Think that my partner is safe around you.
You didn't bother watching my video, okay? Yeah, I didn't bother watching you go on a hysterical scree for 8 hours.
Like this, how do you not condemn this behavior? How do you not condemn these words? Like, you can like Gremlo, you can think the attacks against him are unfair, but how do you not condemn this shit? Like, this is fucked up. Like, no leftist should be fucking saying this. No leftist should be saying, I'm not gonna listen to that fucking hysterical woman. I know you lied. I don't need to see any fucking receipts. I know you lied. What the fuck? Like, how are you defending this? Like, I don't understand. By saying like, well, Mike was being mean to Gremlo, so that's why he said that. Like,
by the way, the idea that I'm being mean to Gremlo, the only reason I've ever been mad at Gremlo is because of this behavior toward Vio, which he was countenancing in person to mutual friends of ours. That's why I know about it, because people saw it and they came to me and they said, this is fucked up, and it made me really uncomfortable, and you should know Gremlo is not your friend. He is out there with a couple people really viciously going after you, and it made me super uncomfortable. That's why I know about it. Before, I just thought it was Rhizome and it being a little bit unhinged, and I don't know why. Mad because I don't forward DGGers unless they show me they're truly reformed, which he has not done. And I didn't want to say Gremlo. On Tuesday, I just implied it was Gremlo because I was still dealing with it emotionally. I still had emotional turmoil. On Tuesday, I wouldn't say Gremlo's name because I was still like, maybe I'm wrong. I don't want to blame Gremlo. Maybe I'm wrong about this. And they just, you don't think they knew? You know, he lost a couple hundred followers on Tuesday. He knew why. It's because I was in distress over the way he treated me and Vio. But here's the difference between me and most other people. You think you can bully me, you've got another thing coming. You think you can bully Vio or my partner? You think you think you could do that? You fucked up. You fucked up. I will tell the truth. I am not intimidated. If I had to lose every friendship I had, I would still do the right thing. If doing the right thing led to the gallows, I'm doing the right fucking thing. So you think you're like my like Twitch, you think my Twitch, me losing a couple hundred followers on Twitch is going to stop me from doing the right thing? You've got another thing coming. I resigned my commission. I gave up lucrative political careers to do the right thing. When I was $100,000 in debt for school, I turned down lucrative careers because I didn't trust the politicians that were offering it to me. I have done the right thing so many times in my life. If I have to be homeless and die on the streets, I'll do that if that's the right thing. You fuck up if you think you can use my career or money to intimidate me. You fucked up. It'll never work. You want me to do something? Show me why it's right and why it's good. This is Denham's waiting for Cinemarxism to say something that isn't misogyny, chat. Sorry for the
And then there's this.
dead air.
Harassment is wrong. It's coming from one direction to wild disproportionality.
See, when I speak the truth about what they've done to us, it's now harassment. But they're on their streams openly shit-talking me for months, calling me a racist, saying I'm a tumor, saying that Vio is an emote thief, saying that they laugh. You know, somebody said something really mean. One of their chatters said something really mean in Rhizom's chat. Rhizom read it out loud, laughed, and said, "Oh, that's so fucking funny." Now, let me just say, I don't give a fuck what... Like, these guys, I'm sorry, but I'll get over it. I'll get over it, guys. Remember, Mike, it's the way Cinemarxism acted after you guys had a policy disagreement was a huge red flag too. Yes, of course it is. It's wrecker shit. That's why they tried to go around saying anybody who says wrecker is actually a liberal. You're not allowed to say someone's being a wrecker. Why would you say that? Some people are wreckers. Like, what? It's like saying you can't say someone's sexually harassing people. You're not allowed to say that, because that's like the biggest red flag, that someone's fucking doing creepy shit. When they're like, you're not allowed to accuse someone of X. It's like, is the shoe fitting?
So Mike and Vio should just take it forever. You can just say that they're thieves, that they're liars, that they're pieces of shit, their artist sucks, they're talentless hacks, and they need to take it on the chin forever. And you can criticize them however much you want forever, and they can never criticize anything back ever, because then the harassment would be wildly disproportional.
They've moved on to saying Twitch streaming isn't praxis. There's nothing to wreck. Okay, let me just say this. I don't think Twitch streaming alone is praxis, but Twitch streaming is the modern way that we communicate with each other. In previous generations, they had newspapers, they used pamphlets, they had radio programs, they had television programs. Like, this is the means of mass communication that the left has, that people watch. This is the way the movement of the 21st century works. Social media, short form content, streaming, all that. Look at fucking Mexico. Every single day, president of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum, leftist leader with an 80% approval rating. She streams. Why? So that she can talk to the people directly, the people of Mexico, and get around the corporate media that is trying to silence that leftist movement. Streaming is very necessary. And saying destroying my stream or destroying Hassan's stream is good for the left or doesn't matter for the left, that's fucking stupid. On its face, it's stupid. Before Zohran Mamdani went on Hassan's stream, he was 1% in the polls. And I don't know if you guys saw the rally, but it was an openly socialist rally. And people were chanting at the Governor Hochul, tax the rich, tax the rich. They were screaming at her face, tax the rich. They were talking about socialism. Now, is it enough? No, it's not enough. But it's about bringing these ideas into the Overton window, so it's not some sort of punk lifestyle, but a real political movement. That's what we're trying to build. And we're trying to build them from current conditions, not imagined conditions of where everybody agrees with us. If I had my druthers, if I was king of the world, yes, I'd push the socialism button.
Listen, man, it's obvious that you have your opinions on the matter, and I'm not going to reach you. But I don't know. I'll say it one last time. I'll try and make it as concise as I can. Thing that I am criticizing Gremlo for is what I perceive to be very misogynist behavior and misogynist speech.
Screenshots
telling a femme-presenting person, hey, you're a liar. I'm not going to watch your video where you lie. You're hysterical. And I don't think that Gremlo's a misogynist. I think that we all have moments where we engage.
Here's what I want to say about this. I think Denims is somebody who really believes in rehabilitation and always giving people, the ability to change. but I'm sorry, dude. This is misogynistic as fuck. And she told him, you're being misogynistic. Can you imagine if somebody said, hey, Mike, when somebody said, hey, Mike, you said be breaking. I said, if I said that, I'm sorry. You're right. I shouldn't have said that. And then they screamed at me because I said, if I said that. They said, if. Remember that? Remember how they went over every word? And they said, oh, I can't believe you said if. Meanwhile, this guy's calling a femme-presenting creator getting harassed. You're lying and you're hysterical. This is fucking full-blown misogyny. This is the same guy that when the Lolo stuff came out, downplayed it and said, oh, it seems to be coming from these communities. Now, later he changed his mind. When everybody condemned, when Hassan came out and condemned Lolo and everybody else came out, he changed his mind then. But his instinct was not so good. But he's also, and the other thing that I really hate, and is really anti-praxis, is these white men go, there's a problem with white leftists not making safe spaces for marginalized people. Who the fuck are you talking about? What are you trying to imply? Meanwhile, when a marginalized creator comes to you, it's open season to call them a liar and say they're like H3H3 because they made a video documenting their abuse.
In bigoted behavior, because it's just like hard to get all of the bigotry out of your brain because you're fucking born in a society. Like, I have misogynistic moments. Everyone here will be misogynistic. It's just like, it's about trying to like recognize when it's happening and recognize.
Hassan says there's no grifting to the left. Well, you know, unfortunately, chat, there is now grifting on the left. Hassan has become so popular that a lot of grifters are starting to pop up. And you know who they hate the most? Those of us who were principled and here from the beginning. When I started my stream and I was doing pro-Palestinian content in 2019, do you think that was a profitable stream? When I had the entire internet shitting on me, including PewDiePie and Dr. Disrespect, when I was a 200 viewer Andy, do you think that was a profitable grift? When I was streaming out of my basement, when I exposed Bo of the Fifth Column and everybody shit on me, when I called out Vosh for not being a real leftist and everyone shit on me, do you think that was a grift that I was doing? I took the hard choice. I took the hard stance every single fucking time, whether it got me viewers or not. And I built my community from years of taking shit and taking the brunt of it. Hassan has always been much bigger than me as a creator. Now, I'm bigger now than Hassan was when I started. And I didn't do it by getting propped up with a million fucking raids. I didn't do it by getting propped up by a ready-made group of larger leftist streamers that would prop me up and bring me on and recommend me. There was nothing but me and Hassan. The other day, he said, you know a lot about electoralism, but you know nothing about internalized white supremacy. Bitch, I did a white fragility stream in 2019 that I got banned for. I got banned in 2020 for doing a praxis stream about union organizing. You fucking rat. Who the fuck are you? You were hanging out with Chud Logic. Rhizome.
You're fucking up. And this is like what he's describing here is misogynistic. Well, Mike attacked me, so fuck you. You're lying. I'm not going to watch your fucking video where you're going to be a hysterical banshee.
People in Mike's, or sorry, not Mike's chat, in Rhizome's chat.
And you know what
saying,
they're mad at me the most for, chat? They're mad because you guys did the meme, Mike was right. It's not an emote, chat. That's something a community member made. And my mods put on Bitter TTV. It's not my emote. It's not an emote that I have on Twitch. That's a community emote. Why? Because I was the only one saying Kamala Harris was going to lose, where Editor Mentum and all these fucking liberals were saying she's going to win. You're hurt. Oh, Mike, they're sycophantic. I'll say you were right. I was right about a prediction I made. They're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why aren't you hyping me up? How in God's name are you offended by Mike was right? Because they have a hostile attitude toward me because they see me and they have an austerity mindset like most right wingers do. They have an austerity mindset. And in their mind, the better Mike does, the worse I'll do. There's only so many viewers to go around, so I need to take Mike down because when Mike's not streaming, Gremlo used to do better because my viewers would go watch him. You know, like obviously, like on the weekend, I wouldn't stream because of my mental health. I usually take 2 days for family and chores and shit and just rotting or like having fun because it is difficult to sit in and look at fascist world first world problems, right? It does get to, even to me, and I like to have days where I focus on my community and my family. And in those days, is an opportunity to stream. So when those days he streamed, it got higher viewership. So in his dumb fucking mind, I just need to get rid of Mike and I'll be bigger. And that is like sickening. That's sickening. That's sickening. Like if somebody said, Mike, you could, if Hassan got banned off Twitch, wouldn't that be great for you? And the answer would be no, of course not. No, of course not. If you told me Hassan being banned would double my stream, would triple my stream, I would say no. Because the movement is more important than me, you fucking idiot. That's an evil thing to do. That is an opportunistic, evil thing to do. I'd rather have Hassan at 40K and me at 4K than me at 10K and Hassan not exist. And if you would pick that, you are fucking rat and you should not be anywhere near this movement. I bet it's insecurities about how knowledgeable you are that makes you dislike you. I don't know, man. I think everybody has things to contribute. Kubashi, I don't know about this. I don't know about this event, so I can't comment on it. As much as I would like to, I don't know anything about that, so I can't. I'm still missing how Grem is involved directly. Have you just got here? Have you just got here? He's been calling Vio a misogynist liar.
Like that's a little fucked up.
Oh, I'm sorry. He's been calling Vio a hysterical liar. He's been calling Vio a hysterical liar. He's been a misogynist. Excuse me, I misspoke.
That's in his chat, to which he said, do not go and give her grief about this. Do not go into their chat and give them any kind of bullshit about this. Don't fight my battles. What happened? And you lied about it. 8 hours.
Like telling a woman she lied, or telling a femme presenting person, you're lying about the harassment you got. You didn't get that harassment. When and if you had literally watched the video, you would have seen that they weren't lying, that they literally were getting harassed.
You didn't bother watching my video, okay? Yeah, I didn't bother watching you go on a hysterical scree for 8 hours.
Like, I don't know what other words to say.
We just watched Nosferatu over the weekend where a woman is called hysterical for being possessed. Literally one of the oldest misogynistic tropes. Actually, it is the oldest. They used to say that when women were stressed, they're being hysterical. In fact, funny side note, history side note, the vibrator was invented to treat hysteria in women. It is the oldest trope. It is the oldest trope. And it's actually really a funny history fact that the vibrator was invented so doctors could stimulate a woman's clitoris to help treat hysteria. And then a bunch of women started going, oh, I have hysteria too. My uterus is falling. Doctor, I need your treatment. And if you think I'm lying, I'm not. This is true. You fuck, I was going to say that, you bastard. The one time I had you, Mike, the one time. I mean, guys, it's me. You don't think my hyperfixation is history. Like, that's why I'm a left winger. Because it's like, oh, this country got a left-wing leader, and wow, it got so much better. Wow, so many problems were solved when the left-wing leader took power. Like, oh, that leader spent a lot of time spending on public works and infrastructure that improved the quality of life for everybody. Wow, that's amazing. This leader built a sewer system and railroads and cleared slums by building social housing, and it improved society. Wow, amazing. Wow, the unions formed and wages went up. It's almost like you can look at things in the past and go, oh, maybe we should do something like that here. It's in the name too. Hysteria comes from the Latin for hystera, the womb. Exactly.
Hey, other than this is misogyny. Yeah, well, your male partner is acting like this, and I don't like it, and they're harassing me, they're being disrespectful to me. So fuck you, fuck your video. I know you're lying about harassment.
By the way, in no way did I harass Gremlo. I'm sorry. I'm sorry we're taking so much time on this, chat. I didn't intend to. But I do think that as a left-wing streamer, I need to call out misogyny in my space before I go out and call it out Twitch-wide. I'm experiencing it right here at home with my partner going through it. I'm calling it out. I'm calling it out here. And if you are going to call yourself a leftist, if you're going to call yourself a socialist, if you're going to call yourself intersectional, I'm not going to be a class reductionist and ignore it because it's convenient. Because it would be easier for me. Because I lost 100 and some. You know that I lost 100 followers or something because I called this out? Do you know that I lost like 100 some followers because I called this out in the last week? People left my stream because I called out misogyny happening to my partner. But I'd do it again. But a lot of content creators see this, and this is why they don't like to call shit out. This is why they get quiet. Because every time you speak the truth, it hurts your career. It hurts your career to be honest and be like, hey, this person's hurting someone I care about and they're doing it misogynistically and they present themselves as a safe space. That's crazy. And not only did they not apologize, they doubled down. And here's the reality. I'm not saying this. This is Denims. This is Denim saying it. This is Denims, a third party saying, hey, guys, you're calling her a hysterical liar. That is a basic trope. Why are you attacking Vio because you don't like Mike? That's misogyny to say that a woman is subsumed into her male partner.
Followers, we're in danger if you watch them.
Mocking her. What the fuck?
That's something we didn't do. And we went to the Mats. Yes, directed by Rhizome. No, not directed by Rhizome.
That's Vio in chat.
Not at all. We went to the fucking Mats for the last year, and I would do it again. Unbelievable.
Ironically, I'm here to block, but unfollowed after you implied he was doing sex pestity shit, which was gross anyway. Bye. Huh? I said Rhizome was a DGGer, which he is, and that the culture of hurting, backbiting is DGG shit, which it is. I'm sorry, it is. Hasanabe heads, we don't do this shit to each other. I'm sorry. Maybe this is normal in Vosh spheres. Maybe this is normal in Destiny's Gear. But the Hasanabe heads, which I've been since day fucking one, we don't do this shit. I'm sorry, we don't. I'm really sad about this, man. Don't compare Gremlo to sex. That's gross. Gremlo is DSA. Gremlo isn't cis. Okay, sorry. I don't know. He presents as a mask presenting person. Okay, I assumed he was cis. I don't know his sexuality. I've never asked. We're not close. But I know he has a wife, so maybe I assumed. I want to apologize for not knowing his sexuality. Cis is gender, you're right. I don't, is he non-binary? Does he claim to be non-binary? He's bi and cis. Okay, thank you, chat.
Your partner misgendering prominent trans people on this platform.
Darvo. Deny, attack, reverse victim and offender. I started the stream out by saying, and by the way, this is what I said immediately. This is a clip from like last week. Here, let me play it again, just in case you don't know. This is what I said. If I inadvertently misgendered someone or said guy or man or something like that, or like that was a total accident, I would just want to apologize. If there was any accidental misgendering, I believe I corrected myself. I may have said something about pedon. I may have said they instead of she. Because sometimes I'll use the term they in language. So I just want to apologize if I did anything like that. I don't intentionally misgender anyone. If I misgender, it's just because I'm old and I miss. So like anybody going like, this is 3 days ago, chat. I'm sorry. You can't see it because my cam, but you see how it says 3 days ago? Like I addressed this right away. If somebody said, hey, Mike, you might have misgendered someone, I immediately said, oh, I'm so sorry if I inadvertently did that. But they is neutral. Not, okay, listen. I tend to use they a lot because I'm trying to just normalize it. But for some trans people, when you say like a trans woman and you use they pronouns, they kind of feel like it is, they feel like that it is kind of misgendering them and denying their, female gender if you use they when they're she, her. So it can be misgendering. Even if you don't intentionally use it like that, if you use the singular they with a trans woman who goes by she, her pronouns, you are misgendering them. So it's something that you should try to avoid, okay? Which I do. But here's the thing about this, chat. Like, supporting trans rights is not, it's not supposed to be something that you're trying to catch people where they misspoke on a single pronoun so that you can then claim they're transphobic. Like, that's not what we're trying to do here. I'm trying to normalize accepting transgender pronouns, but missteps happen, mistakes happen. We're not here. This is not the Inquisition where you make one misspeak and then we nitpick you and then claim you're transphobic. That is harmful and wrong in bad faith.
And I'm not going to watch your video where you're going to hysterically screech for 8 hours. That's what I'm criticizing here, man. That's the only thing that I'm criticizing. And if you can't see that because you're too deep in it and you want to defend this person and you want to attack that person, whatever, man. But I feel like it's the base thing to do to just be like, you're right. That was fucked up of him to say. He shouldn't have said that. That was impolite. That was incorrect. I stand on business on everything else, but yes, that was wrong. That's it. It's that easy. It's just that easy. But I don't know why you guys just want to like deny.
Misgendering people while dogpiling them in chat. If I saw anybody intentionally misgender, they got banned or timed out. sometimes people assume other people are like there is this internet assumption that everyone you're talking to is a 35-year-old white man. It's like the Reddit brain where you think everybody's a 35-year-old white Redditor, IT worker. Like that's actually not what you should do. And you know, the dogpiling, listen, I don't think you should dogpile people in chat, but I do think that if somebody comes into somebody's chat and they make threats and they're super hostile, you cannot be surprised if the chat is like going, well, shut the fuck up, you're an idiot. Like that's just, you can't come into somebody's chat, be hostile to the streamer, and be surprised when the chat yells at you. Like that, like, come on. No reasonable person has the expectation that they could just be an asshole in a chat and nobody call them out for it. Like that's ridiculous. Mike, thoughts of the Trump-China talks? China's gonna win and they're gonna get what they want. Like it's not that hard. Notice how you immediately apologize for even the possibility you misgendered someone, but has Graham apologized for calling Vio hysterical? Have the people who called Vio a colonizer and a terrorist apologized? No, they have not. They called Vio a terrorist. I almost forgot about this. This was so racist, I couldn't believe it. It was so batshit crazy and so racist. Peden, and I think Peden is she, her pronouns, correct, chat? Peden's partner called Vio a terrorist.
And when Lex said Vio colonized Rise's emotes as a joke, incredible offense to that, and talked about it multiple times, and still probably talked about it today. She grew up in Austria where race politics are very different. She got hate crime throughout her life. I understand that, but this is a conversation between American streamers in America, though. To be fair, she's Persian, but she said she's white passing. And when Lex said that Vio colonized Rise's emotes as a joke, she took incredible offense to that, and talked about it multiple times, and still probably talked about it today. She grew up in Austria where race...
I mean, that's just like, this is, it's gross. It's gross. It's gross. I guess there we didn't have the, I thought that included the terrorist thing, but apparently not. But they also called Vio a terrorist. A Muslim woman, MB, representing in America, being called a terrorist in this fascist administration. I mean, who's already been harassed by, you know, Ethan Klein. And they know that. I'm just speechless.
Or like more specifically, not you guys.
Why do they call them a terrorist? Because Vio made a video documenting their harassment. Vio was getting harassed, made a video because they heard that they were slandering her and defaming her to a mutual friend of ours at their not inside the club B&B. I hate to put it so bluntly, but when they were doing their little, not secret meeting, chat, I'm sorry, private hangout, not a secret meeting, to shit talk me and Vio about dumb fucking emotes. But they were doing it as a way of being like, hey, Vio stole Rhizome's emotes and used AI. Just slander, just total slander. And Vio was heartbroken over it, so she made a video saying, hey, these people are harassing me and they're lying and I didn't steal the emotes. They said that was doing terrorism to them because she brought it to me and we brought it into public. Now, can I just say, who the fuck gives a shit about Pepe emotes? Like, it's ridiculous. The more important thing is, this is a freelance artist and you're ruining their income and you are harassing a person who's completely innocent and kind. If you know, not liking me, totally fine. Going after Vio, who has literally never done anything wrong in this space and has always done nothing but being helpful and generous to a million people and give them so many tips on like how do you get subscribers from your audience? How, you know, can you help me with my subathons? She does all this stuff, all this work behind the scenes to help people for absolutely no credit, by the way. And she got banned for 30 days on the Sabra panel because she associates with left-wingers, and this is how she's treated. Just so you know, Vio uses any pronouns, but I tend to use she and they. She is femme-presenting in our society. If I use he, everyone will get confused of who I'm talking about. And, you know, misogyny at work, but what can you say? And, like, I'm going into this so in-depth because I need to do this before we get into the wider Twitch space where misogyny is absolutely rampant. We're almost done.
Direct with my criticism. I don't want to make it into something that it's not.
And by the way, chat, I don't want Hassan to talk about this. I'm not trying to get more streamers involved in this because, quite frankly, it's about emotes, right? It's about emotes. And as far as I know, he doesn't really interact with any of these people at all. other than maybe they're in his chat once in a while. So I don't want Hassan. I don't want Caroline. I don't want people bothered over this shit. I can handle it. Okay. And I can handle it. I look at, people like Denims and, she commented on it. Casey Tron commented on it. These are the people that are involved and, that have decided to talk about it. So we don't need to be bothering other people. I want Hassan to be focused on, he's fucking in New York City. He's with Zohran. He's going to socialist rallies where we're about to win a major election and getting mobbed with all the people that said, thank you, Hassan, for making me a political person. Everybody saying Twitch streams don't matter. Watch Hassan at the socialist rally in New York City. If I had said that 10 years ago, it would have been unbelievable. I'm sorry, if you're under the age of 30, you don't know what America used to be like. A Muslim socialist is about to win the mayor of New York City 10, 15 years ago. That would have been an impossible fucking task.
It's just so, I like, and like literally they're still doing it. They're still doing it. Any comments on this harassment?
Arvo.
The only harassment that matters is the harassment against you. All the other harassment doesn't matter. It's fake. It's made up. They're lying, and you won't listen to their hysterical screeching. Got it. You don't really give a shit about Vio getting harassed. You only care about when you and yours are getting harassed. Thank you for telling me so clearly and so boldly and refusing to fucking own up for 2 fucking seconds in the easiest way possible and just say, yeah, the harassment that Vio's been getting is fucked up. They didn't deserve that. They have nothing to do with Mike's comment. Like, it's just so, it's just so.
Deny, attack, reverse victim and offender. Classic abuser mentality. And even when a neutral third party is begging you to see what you're doing, they refuse. They refuse. I mean, like, what the fuck? And because I speak out for this, because I spoke out against this misogyny in the left-wing space, my reward hurts my career. That's why so many people don't say anything. If you want to know why there's so many fence sitters, because if you say something, you get penalized for it. If you speak out against abuse, you know that you can prove you will suffer for it. That's the culture of misogyny that I'm talking about. And if you care about this stuff, you can't let this fly. And you have to defend the people. You have to defend Vio. You have to defend me when people are spreading lies about how I'm doing X, Y, and Z thing because they're doing Darvo for their own asses. You need to speak up. You need to speak out against it. I'm sorry, you do.
So spineless. I just don't get it. I don't get why it's so hard to just be like, yeah, what's happening to Vio over emotes is fucked up. Like, how is that hard? I don't get how that's so fucking hard.
According to marriage and family therapist Dr. Darlene Lancer, most emotional abuse goes unnoticed and unreported. And although it is an often overlooked form of abuse, that doesn't make it any less harmful or serious than physical abuse.
Marxism's never liked you because you aren't fully abolished police and prisons. I'm sorry, but Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk need to go into prison. So if you're saying we should abolish all prisons and we don't want to put Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk in prison, I don't agree with you. I'm sorry. They need to go in prison, and they need to go in prison right now.
Dr. Lancer defines emotional abuse as behavior that is purposefully derogatory, controlling, punishing, or manipulative towards another person. Both men and women can be victims of emotional abuse, explains Dr. Lancer. But unfortunately, many don't even realize when it's happening to them. One of the reasons why emotional abuse is so hard to recognize is because abusers will often blame their victims to deflect their wrongdoings, a common gaslighting and manipulation tactic called Darvo that you should be careful of. What is Darvo? The term Darvo was first coined and studied in 1997 by the University of Oregon psychology professor Jennifer Joy Freyd, founder and president of the Center for Institutional Courage. She defines Darvo as a psychological manipulation tactic that generates self-doubt and mistrust and exploits a lack of awareness in victims and those around them. It stands for D. Deny responsibility. Attack. R. Roles become reversed between the V. True victim and the O. Offender. Freyd first witnessed Darvo in instances of sexual assault, wherein those accused would often attack the victim's credibility and outright deny the allegations against them, making the public distrust the victims. In her 2017 study, together with fellow psychology professor Eileen Zubriggen, Freyd found that victims of Darvo often end up blaming themselves and self-silencing. But Darvo can happen in friendships, family relationships, and even institutional dynamics, for example, workplace relationships too. Fortunately, educating yourself about Darvo makes it significantly less effective, helps you hold the true perpetrators accountable, and can stop their cycle of emotional abuse. Darvo in action. Amanda Kippert, editor-in-chief of DomesticShelters.org.
And by the way, chat, when I started talking about this last week, I said, hey, this is what's going on. You know, this is what's going on. We had, they're doing this shit. They're slandering VO. They're bullying VO. I don't want to say who it is, but please, can you reach out? Can you apologize so we can move on from this? And instead, they just, until I finally had enough, because then they talked about it again. They did it again. They did it again. And I just had enough. And I couldn't take it anymore. And I said, I can't stand idly by while VO is being harassed by these people so they can get to me. And they denied, oh, we never had a meeting. Oh, there was a meeting, but it wasn't secret. Oh, well, there was a meeting, but I was asleep. Well, I was there, but it was just people, you know, getting together and sharing their opinion, right? It went from never happened to everything Mike said is happening, but it's actually because Mike's a bad guy. Why is Mike a bad guy? Come up, he's misgendering people. Like they come up with some fucking lie in the moment to justify their attack.
Describes the three-step method of Darvo manipulation as follows. Deny. Abusers will vehemently deny what they did and gaslight their victims into thinking that they're just making a big deal out of nothing. Attack. Abusers will then attack the victim's credibility by bringing up anything in the past that they can use against them. This is so like you, remember when? Or questioning their victim's mental stability, values, and motives. Are you in your right state of mind?
Yeah, they've basically said I'm mentally ill. Like literally every single thing that is in this video, they're doing to me and VO. Every single thing. You're hysterical. And this is important because we're going to cover Emiru here in a minute, but I figured we'd start out the stream early and get this off, off my chest. And I just want to say, I don't care that it hurt my channel. I don't give a shit that it hurt my channel. I do not care. Good fucking riddance. Good fucking riddance to the people that will stand with abusers and manipulators. Good fucking riddance. And if any of you are being abused, I would say the same thing. I would say good fucking riddance. But you should keep in mind that doing the right thing is painful as a content creator. That's why there's so many fence sitters out there. There's so many people that stay quiet because they know, well, if I speak out against that creator, any of their parasocial fans are going to leave. So I need to be quiet and hope it works out. It was even more gross to see them doing Darvo and Denim's chat while she was watching the VO video. I know, it's disgusting.
I can't believe the things you're saying. Why are you doing this to me? Reverse, victim and defender. At this point, most victims will often become stunned into silence and confusion. They may even begin to believe what the abuser is telling them, which the abuser will likely take as an opportunity to manipulate the narrative further. They'll make themselves out to be the victim. I'm so hurt and betrayed that you could even think that about me. What kind of person accuses a loved one of that? And guilt the true victim for even speaking up about it in the first place. And in doing so, they overshadow what the victim was even trying to open up about and force the true victim to defend themselves from the abuser and others instead of getting the help and support they need. Tips for coping with Darvo. Psychotherapist and trauma recovery specialist Dr. Heather Kent says that emotional abuse such as Darvo manipulation can be very difficult to recognize when you're on the receiving end of it. And often, it takes someone from the outside to help you realize what's actually happening and how it's not okay.
And this is why I really appreciate Denims. This is why I really appreciate Denims, because other people are quiet about this because it's not good for their career. This is why I appreciate Denims, because Denims heard about VO being attacked and victimized, and she said, let me look into this. And when she saw the Darvo happening, when she saw people try to distract to make it about me, she called it out for what it is. Casey, when they went to Casey and tried to do relational aggression and tried to do mean girl shit behind our backs, Casey said, hey, this is totally not okay. This is wrong. And, you know, it is what it is.
The solution, Dr. Kent says, is to gain more awareness and get out of that situation as soon as possible. Professional counselor and trauma-focused CBT therapist Eric Patterson also encourages and empowers victims to resist Darvo by recording the story to reaffirm their perspectives, finding a safe space to heal from emotional distress, and seeking support from loved ones, recognizing and countering their attacks, and role reversal. Education, Patterson says, is key to improved mental health and emotional wellness for victims of emotional abuse, manipulation, and toxic behaviors. So what are your thoughts? Did any of the things we talked about here make you realize you might have been emotionally abused and manipulated by someone? If so, don't hesitate to seek help from loved ones and
I got banned from Grem's chat, I guess, for stuff I said it here because I don't even follow him anymore. Yeah.
Out to a mental health care professional. And always remember, psych-goers, you matter. Are you looking for a cuddly companion that brings positivity and mental wellness to your daily life? Get your very own Sai. The lovable plushie is here to brighten your days.
All right, that's a
It
pretty
embodies
good.
the
That's a
spirit of
pretty good video, chat. Make sure that you like this. Getting banned from Gremlo's chat is based. It is based. All right. Well, chat, let's move on. Now that we have this, we've handled the housekeeping of our own side. It's time for us to talk about what's going on in the wider Twitch, and then hopefully we could talk about politics going forward this week. And if you need domestic violence resources in the United States, thank you, Woke Militia. Make sure you check out the hotline.org. All right, let's talk about this.
So, I mean, you guys can probably tell, but today's not going to be a normal stream. Not going to, watch videos or play games or anything today. I kind of just have a bunch of stuff that I wanted to talk about, and then I'm probably just going to go offline after. But yeah, it's, I mean, you guys know, I've been streaming for 10 years. Last week was kind of the first time that I ever really, spoke about a topic or, something that happened to me. And honestly, I'm really glad that I did, and I'm proud that I did. And, I feel like I have to see it to its conclusion, if that makes sense.
Obviously, chat, I put in the title at the top of the screen, trigger warning abuse, but it's all the different types of abuse you can imagine in these stories. So
not just for myself, but in a way, I kind of feel like a lot of people are involved because it doesn't just affect me. So that's why, sorry about my voice. I'm very, very nervous in case you can't tell. But I knew that this stream had to be done today. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So I guess might as well get started. Not, stall too much or anything. I know there's a lot of people here who don't normally watch, and if you're wondering, yes, I do normally run 20-minute intros. And yes, my community at least claims that they like it. I think that they like it. I like playing songs for you guys, but anyway, yeah, anyway. We don't like it? Okay, well, whatever. Anyway, I'm probably gonna stop reading chat now as well, but you guys are free to say whatever you want, obviously. So, yeah, like I said before, it's been a pretty crazy week, and a lot of things have happened since the last time that I streamed in relation to what I talked about last week, the whole TwitchCon incident. Some other things happened that kind of pushed me to talk about a lot of things that I want to talk about today. So, as you can see, I wrote out my notes, and not only that, I have even more notes. So, yeah, if it seems like I'm reading a script or something, I wrote super detailed notes because I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. So yeah. Okay. So, I think everyone knows about last week, the stuff that happened at TwitchCon. I was assaulted, and the guy was able to leave the venue, basically. Okay, so intro, first thing that I want to talk about is I did see the Twitch tweet that I believe went out yesterday. I was literally in a Discord call with my friends, and they were like, "Did you see that Twitch apologized to you?" And I was like, "Wait, what?" So yeah, basically what I'm trying to say is they put out that tweet. I was never apologized to privately. They put that out without consulting me or anything. I didn't know that they were gonna do that, so that was yeah. I mean, I'm glad that, they're trying to take some level of accountability, but there's a lot of things they didn't mention in the tweet that I feel like should have been mentioned. But anyway, more stuff's been happening behind the scenes. So I want to say that last week, everything I said on my stream was accurate, obviously, except for one thing. I was wrong about one thing. I was going over the tweet that Twitch initially put out, where they're like, "Oh yeah, this thing happened to a high-profile creator. Police were on site. We're cooperating with law enforcement investigations."
Can I just say that a lot of people go "Oh yeah, this is normal for corporations to not do the not cooperate with law enforcement until they get subpoenaed and blah 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 blah." Can we start making companies pay for this kind of behavior. If there's especially a website like Twitch, this isn't a Walmart where somebody was like, you know, Walmart doesn't know what happened. This is a creator that Twitch is directly bringing there to profit from being assaulted. Why the fuck is it okay for them to have standard corporate, you know, no, they should be protecting their creators just like they would protect a politician or something.
What I was wrong about was
there's no law saying they have to, you know, they have to not cooperate with law enforcement. They choose not to cooperate out of the small chance they'll be sued by the assaulter. Like, give me a fucking break.
They were not cooperating with law enforcement investigations. I found that out on Monday when I got a phone call from the San Diego police, and they were talking to me, and they basically said, hey, we can't really do anything right now because they apparently know the name of the guy, but they're not giving it to us until a warrant goes through, which, if you know anything about that stuff, it usually takes a while. Even you know, if it's expedited, which it was being expedited for me, but it still takes a lot of time. And they're like, yeah, they're refusing to give us the name, which as far as I'm aware is like a very common company thing where they'll be, you know, they don't want to give out names of potential people involved in crimes because then like that person could maybe like sue them for giving their name to police. I don't know, something like that. That's what my lawyer said. But basically, they were, Twitch was trying to make sure that the guy that assaulted me didn't sue them, which meant that the police were not able to work on the case right away. So yeah, I got a call about that on, I believe it was Monday, from the San Diego police. They were like, yeah, we're working on the warrant, but like right now, that's like all we can really do, but like we're trying our best, just like want to let you know, we're gonna keep in the loop and everything. I was like, okay. I was very frustrated because I was like, damn, like, I didn't know that on Saturday. I would have said that if I knew. And then I believe it was the next day, there was someone who, I don't know if they were a viewer or if they were just someone who like knew of the situation from social media. They contacted my manager and they basically told her that at their place of work, someone came into their work who matched the description of the guy. And this person was saying like, oh, I'm, you know, traveling to Texas and I caused like quite a stir at a TwitchCon. And this person like, you know, reached out to my manager, reached out to police, San Diego police interviewed them. But basically what I'm trying to say is because all this stuff was delayed, this guy was able to get really far away from San Diego, allegedly. And this whole time my manager was like, basically like begging Twitch, like, dude, like, please give us his name. Like, we don't know who this person is. Like, for all we know, he like lives around where Emmy and her roommates live. I can't like help her if like I don't know who this person is, and they were refusing to do it. But after that tip from the person who said that the guy came into their workplace and was talking to him, my manager demanded the info from Twitch. So they did end up giving it to police, but not my manager as far as I know. She still doesn't. Yeah, so the investigation's still going on, but it's like been a huge mess because of all of the delays and like refusal to work with the police. And yeah, it's ongoing. I can't like say too much about it. Like all this that I'm saying, obviously I like ran by my lawyer and stuff. And I do want you guys to know that Melissa has been making sure that, you know, me and my roommates, who are obviously other pretty well-known girl streamers, that we have been safe here, paying for like security stuff, making sure we're protected. Again, my manager's been taking care of that all on her own. Twitch did not offer anything like that.
You see, Twitch only takes 30% of our income. How could you expect them? How could you expect Twitch to, you know, with the millions of dollars they take from streamers, to do anything like, say, for example, when a prominent, one of the top streamers on their platform, one of the top female streamers, gets assaulted at their convention, to do anything after that to ensure they're safe? They're only taking millions of dollars of money from her every year.
And yeah, that's where it is right now, pretty much. I can't say like,
basically Twitch wasn't protecting the suspect, they were protecting themselves. So Emiru's assault, as far as Twitch is concerned, they're not liable for that. But if they grabbed this guy and held him, well, then that might be considered false imprisonment, and that would create liability for them. So as far as Twitch is concerned, you being assaulted while working their event, not their problem. And they're not going to do anything until the cops come to them and force them to. Because the moment they start releasing stuff voluntarily to the police to cooperate with the investigation, maybe this gentleman will sue Twitch. And they want to be able to say everything we did was compelled by the courts so that they could protect their bottom line. They don't want to take any proactive steps that are illegal to take, but they might have to defend in court. They only take the decisions that they're the absolute most legally secure. Doesn't mean they're illegal, doesn't mean they're wrong. Like Twitch could proactively cooperate with the police, but they're choosing not to because, as I said before, they're trying to protect themselves against a hypothetical lawsuit from this guy. That's Twitch's highest priority. Not my safety, not Emiru's safety, not any Twitch streamer's safety. Keeping their lawsuit costs to a minimum.
Too much about what, me and my lawyer are doing, but my hope is really that there's some kind of like public resolutions that people who like seen this and like know about everything that's happened can feel better about it. Because like I said, I don't feel like it's just about me. Like it could have been anyone that it happened to, like a small streamer who's not as lucky to have the resources or like, the reach that I have. So it's very scary and just very, very frustrating. And yeah.
Okay, chat. I think we're all on board with what happened in San Diego. So I'm glad that Emiru is pursuing legal action. And call me a capitalist roader, but I think sexual assaulters should go to prison. Call me a reactionary. I think sexual assaulters and billionaires should go to prison. Okay? Call me a capitalist roader or whatever. Okay? But I wanted to get ahead. We've talked about this a lot, so I wanted to get to the Mizkif section, and I think we all are up to date on what's going on with Twitch. Let me try to skip ahead a couple minutes because this is a political stream. So I want to make this conversation more than just the interpersonal drama of Mizkif versus Emiru, but actually elevate the conversation about the structures of Twitch. I believe it's 30 minutes in. Okay.
He was very controlling over what I wore, eventually figured it out. I initially moved in. Sorry. I'm still sick, like I said. This is all public, obviously this part. I moved in with him. I believe it was the end of 2021.
Was it 21 minutes? Okay.
I took a lot of notes, so forgive me.
Okay, thank you, chatter, for correcting
if
that.
I just end up reading off my notes.
Did you cover the legality of the situation? Okay, first of all, with the Twitch stuff, Twitch is absolutely not doing what they're legally required to do. Twitch could proactively help the police. They could have detained him because under the law, if somebody commits an assault, we have what's called the right of self-defense of others and citizens arrest. You are allowed to hold someone who committed a felony for a reasonable amount of time until law enforcement arrive. All right. So legally, Twitch could have they could have detained the guy. They could have taken him to a detention room with security and waited for the if they called the cops immediately and they released them to the cops immediately, it would not be illegal. That is completely legal to do. You're totally allowed to do that. In fact, bystanders could have grabbed the guy and tackled him to the ground and done the same thing. Now, you could get sued for false imprisonment, but guess what, chat? You could get sued for anything. Okay? What Twitch is basically trying to say is they don't trust their security team to make judgment calls at all. All the security's team does is they stand there at gates and they basically offer token resistance. They offer token resistance. But if somebody just barrels through the shit, they're not doing anything. Just so you don't know. They're not doing anything. It's just token resistance, depending upon you fucking complying. And that's the way Twitch wants it because they don't want to have to defend any of the security personnel for making judgment calls. So they say, make no judgment calls. It's all security theater.
The first and probably most severe reason is that one of the rules that I set for myself a long time ago.
But, by the way, this is not what the law says. This is what they do to minimize their litigation costs, chat. They're doing it to minimize their litigation costs. That's the only thing they value is making money.
Withholding this information was that if I ever felt like somebody else was in danger of being hurt, I would then make myself speak about it. And 2 weeks ago, actually 3 weeks ago now, I was informed by 3 separate people, one of whom was present for said incident.
Okay, just, you know, to lift the curtain a little bit, as somebody who is like one of the highest tier purple partner, or whatever they fucking call it, Twitch, Amazon has security specialists that are there, and there is venue security. And as far as I know, there's supposed to be, because it's a major convention center, there's also San Diego uniformed police officers. But Twitch kind of runs a lot of the like security checkpoints and control points. So this isn't just venue security only.
He had done something
and they have
similar.
a security operation center too that also watches all the Twitch streams that are happening at Twitch, by the way.
To something that he had done to me and to someone in LA at the end of September. And this person is not a streamer or content creator, but obviously that does not matter. And because of this, I cannot in good conscience sit here knowing that I know critical information about someone that almost no one else does and not say anything.
So just to give you context of what Emiru is saying now, Emiru is saying that she became aware, she decided to come out because she heard a third party was assaulted by Mizkif recently. And so she decided that she could not be quiet about the abuse and harassment and that she had received. So she decided to come out because she's hearing more women are being victimized and she couldn't have it on her conscience anymore being quiet.
I think that most issues and dramas should stay private and off the internet, and still hold that belief to this day, and I will hold that belief going forward. However, there are certain things that cross the line, and I say that the line has been crossed too many times to be count. There's a point where I believe that people deserve to know. I think that at a certain point, if you know a lot of things about someone and you don't say anything to look out for others, it's wrong. It's wrong to keep it to yourself. I don't want what happened to me or what has happened to other people because of him to happen to other people. And I don't believe he will ever stop behaving the way he does. But regardless, yeah, like I said, one of the main reasons I decided to do this stream is to come out about all of this because I can't hold on to it any longer because it feels wrong to do so. And an honorable mention reason for why I'm doing this is that for a while, he has been indirectly threatening me through my friends and people that I work with. They've informed me that he said that if I ever talked about anything he did, he would try to create a smear campaign against me in retaliation. I was told that he even approached other streamers who were close with us back when we lived together, asking them if they would join with him, and they all refused. At TwitchCon, he approached one of my employees, threatening them and saying if I ever talked about him, he would destroy me. Multiple people have told me that his plan was to claim that I kill animals and that I killed my own rabbits, since I had several of my rabbits pass away over the course of 3 years while I lived with him. I'm sure he's probably listening now, and it's probably going to come as quite a shock to him that this information made its way back to me and that I've known for months. But if you try to threaten me to stay quiet, especially using my poor dead animals, I'm not going to stay quiet. Okay. So now that I've explained all the reasons why this took so long and why I made the decision to do this stream, I have a few more things I would like to get out of the way before I start talking about all of this. The way that I'm going to do this today is I'm going to run through everything from the beginning to the end to try to get across the story as accurately and fully as I can. And, hold on. I'm also going to be showing a few screenshots validating what I'm saying. I have more things, but this is what I felt comfortable using today, and I will be running through those later. Another thing that I'd like to mention before I start is that during my statement, I'm going to be mentioning directly the names of about half a dozen other creators who were present for certain things. And I want to say that none of these people did anything wrong. I'm just saying that they were there, and I've asked all of them permission. They all said that it was fine to include their names, but I know this won't stop everyone, but I ask people, for the streamers that I mentioned, please don't go bothering them or asking them for more information. If there's something else that they want to say, they'll say it themselves, so there's no point to go pester them and bother them about it. There are also streamers who gave me permission to share things that they relayed to me privately, but asked me to redact their names, which I, of course. And the last thing that I want to make clear is that not every person that I interact with or that I'm friends with knew the extent of all of these things. And in fact, most of them didn't. And some of them didn't even know anything at all. I tried to keep things private with my close friends. If anyone during the past year ever approached me asking questions, I didn't lie and I told them the truth. But yeah, I don't want there to be some kind of witch hunt like, oh, you knew and this, no. A lot of people, you know, didn't know everything or didn't know anything. I think that's
I think that is a really bad behavior that people sometimes do, where they go on these witch hunts, because you're actually deterring victims from coming forward, right? Focus on and this is something that I wrestle with. When somebody tells me that somebody did X, Y, and Z thing, there's always a balance between protecting the community and respecting the humanity and the self-determination of victims. And there is a weird inquisitorial nature of the internet where people want to go around and try to, like, you know, find reasons to yell at people and you know, whip people that may have had nothing to do with it or may not have known. And that is distracting from the fundamental core problem, which is the way that abusers move in these spaces, is they make it painful for victims to come out.
all that I have to get out of the way to start. So, this is public information. I initially moved in. Sorry. I'm still sick, like I said. This is all public, obviously, this part. I moved in with him, I believe it was the end of 2021, because he offered. I was living alone at the time, and I was having stalker issues in Kansas, and I mean, you guys know, like, all the stuff that happened there. I ended up joining the org and everything. We did a lot of streams together, and I mean, a lot of people already know this, but I'm just gonna come out and say it. We started dating. We were in a relationship starting January 2022 after I joined OTK. I'm not planning to go into too much detail about the start of the relationship because it honestly doesn't really matter at this point. It's irrelevant now. The only things that really matter that you guys need to know for the story are that it was, one, an extremely private relationship.
Can I just like talk about one of the talking points that some of Miz's defenders have, which is the idea that Emiru like moved in quickly after Maya left and blah blah blah, and that means they were already dating and things like that. No, this is just a distraction from the point, which is Emiru was facing a lot of stalkers from Twitch, from the communities out there, and she moved there because she needed friends, she needed support, and she was vulnerable. Okay, it's really none of your business how people's interpersonal lives were going. It's weird to try to like litigate everything and try to pass judgment over stuff that is not your business and is not legal or illegal. We're talking about where the behavior became illegal, where it became abusive.
It was even hidden from friends and people in the org, but I mean, obviously people all eventually figured it out. They're not fucking stupid. And second, it was an extremely codependent relationship, which is not the issue, but that's just, you know, making that clear for details. He initially portrayed himself to me as someone who was very nice to girls and wanted to help me feel safe from stalkers and wanted me to succeed as a teammate. And we grew very close over time, and I was very dependent on him for feelings of safety, social life, like my stream, my job, everything. So yeah, besides it being a very codependent relationship, the start of it was fine. I saw a lot of people mentioning this. They thought this was what I was going to talk about. It's not a secret. I think everyone who paid attention knew that he was very controlling over what I wore, to a degree, who I was friends with, and even when I would stream. So when it was definitely slow over time that bad things started happening. At the start, it would be things like, for example, he would throw bottles, like plastic bottles with liquid in it, not like glass bottles, at me, despite me telling him like I didn't like it and it scared me and I bruised.
By the way, throwing objects at people is classic abuse. That's a classic abuse, because there's plausible deniability, and then but it is a physical altercation. and he can seriously injure someone. So it's very intimidating, but it's also plausibly deniable. It is a way that abusers start escalating their abuse to a physical level. If somebody starts throwing shit at you, that's physical abuse, and it needs to be dealt with immediately. There's a clip of him throwing stuff at Maya too on stream. Do you have that clip?
Very easily. He would throw his phone at me. I would tell him, you know, it scared me, I don't like it. And one time it even hit me in the eye, which
This gives abusive pattern of throwing objects, reckless driving, intimidation, manipulation, and violence goes back years.
I'm not talking to him today.
Well, nobody asked you.
I'm not doing anything.
Okay. Look at her face. She's so uninterested. She said no. Maya unimpressed. That's what that was.
2 Starbucks bags of Starbucks I got you over the past 2 days.
Oh my god.
How, like, I gotta tell you, chat, if I had a male friend and I heard about any of this, I would have gone to him the next day and I said, if I hear you doing this again, we're gonna have a problem, you and me. And I would go to my friend and say, break up with this guy. He's an abuser. And he felt comfortable doing it on stream?
If that was throw it back. Funny. Throw it back. There better be. Oh my god, I would beat the shit out of him.
we're live.
What the fuck?
We're live, she says.
Anyway, there's something about being trapped in a car with an angry, aggro man that is like the absolute most helpless thing. Dude, I did a guy that would go like 100 miles an hour on the, like we would fight in the car, which was never my decision. Like it just always like happened. Like we just would like fight in the car and then he'd go like 100 and I would like literally like beg him to not slow down.
That's not funny. That's actually like fucking life-threatening. That is criminal shit.
So then I started driving only. Like I wouldn't let him drive me anywhere. But then if we'd get in a fight while I was driving, he would like pound my, he would like scream and like hit the ceiling and like hit the glove box. And then I'd pull over and be like, get out of my car. And he'd be like, no. And then I was like, well, because what am I going to do?
Yeah, what are you
What am I going to do?
What the fuck? I mean, this is psychotic behavior. Ugh.
Caused me to get a black eye, but he always, you know, was like, oh, it's an accident. And I was like, oh yeah, it's an accident. Like, you know, of course I'm not gonna think that, you know, I just, at the time, I just kind of was, you know, I just brushed it off. And looking back.
Nervous laughter is a very common thing that people do when they're confronted with something and they feel very uncomfortable. Nervous laughter is very common. Doesn't mean you think it's funny. It just means you're shocked and uncomfortable and you're trying to relieve the tension.
Now I feel like that was kind of the start of him testing my boundaries, if that makes sense. So that was already kind of starting to show signs within the first 6 months of me and him being close. And then again,
in fact, this behavior is so common in mammals. You can often see it in your dog too. If you see your dog get stressed and start yawning, that's them doing the same thing. We will do these involuntary physical things to relieve tension. You know, so that's that. No one was mocking Maya. Maya wasn't laughing because it was funny. It was laughing because of the stress of it and the vulnerability of it.
Public situation.
Dogs will also sneeze. Yeah.
The end of 2022.
Like sometimes you'll see dogs playing with other dogs, and then they'll start sneezing because they're stressed. Or they're trying to show the other dog that they don't mean any kind of aggressive behavior. So this is something that a lot, like mammals do this kind of thing. So when you see people laughing because they're uncomfortable, it doesn't mean they're laughing at the thing and not taking it seriously. Sneezing means stress. It can mean stress. Or it can just mean they're like showing they're not being aggressive. It could be like a social, it's a thing that, I'm sorry to make this about dogs, and I'm just trying to give you examples of this is extremely deeply ingrained in mammalian like behavior, social behavior.
Cover up allegations happened. I mean, yeah, like I said, all that's public. You can find all that.
Cutie Lass will talk about all her past traumatic experiences.
Everything.
Yeah.
After that happened, his behavior started getting a lot worse, which, I mean, I suppose it makes sense. You know, he was very stressed. A lot of stuff was happening. The bad behavior was ramping up, and I feel like it's so apparent if, like, you know, you go back and watch anything from that time. I tried so hard to help him and be there for him because I really believed in him and I wanted him to, you know, get better and get back on his feet and, be the person that, you know, I always believed that he was. That unfortunately did not really happen. For a long time, I think about 1.5 years from when that all happened, it was kind of like slow things getting worse. But I mean, honestly, I'm not even gonna bother going into the details of all of that because there's just too much to cover. And it's honestly kind of not really relevant to the rest of what I'm saying because the rest of what I want to say is a lot worse. There was a point where things really took a turn for the worst. Like it felt like, you know, like a very delicate branch just kind of snapped. So, and again, a lot of people are like vaguely aware of this, but I'll explain it for people who aren't, you know, chronically tapped into all that stuff. So for a long time after the like cover-up allegations happened and he was like starting to kind of struggle on his stream, he never wanted to stream at the same time as me. Like we really avoided it. And to me at the time it made sense because, you know, I was like, well, of course, like, you know, we share a lot of community members. If we're live at separate times, we're both gonna perform better, you know, it makes sense. But yeah, we were never really live doing the same thing at the same time for a long time, with the exception of like things like events or sponsors or like, you know, just special things for a very long time. And a lot of you guys probably noticed that I would only usually stream on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. That was because of him. And now I stream whenever I want. But the first time that we ever streamed at the same time was for the 2024 Rust Kingdoms event on Twitch. We were sharing drops, so it was the first time in a very long time that we were both going to be live at the same time doing the same thing, basically. I know you're probably like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? But it'll make sense in a bit. So I'm live, he's live, we're both streaming, and like I said,
First of all, Emiru and Mizkif. Okay, first of all, too funny. Bro, the V from Vendetta Mask. Letters, initials, bunch of numbers. First of all, Emiru and Mizkif are both toxic. And I'm saying 100%, I don't support both sides. This is what I'm talking about when people call out misogyny. When you call out abuse, when you call out misogyny, all it does is you get a bunch of people doing radical centrist bullshit. There are multiple women coming out. Are they, you know, speaking out about this? There are multiple women coming out. This is not just one woman or one person. Here's Qco, my Mizkif sexual assault and harassment experience. Our first hookup, I was so drunk I couldn't keep my eyes open. Originally, I was supposed to crash on the couch, but somehow ended up in his bed. I remember all I wanted was to sleep, but he kept trying to kiss me and address me. I finally let him have it because I was too dizzy to care anymore. He made sure to coach me to say that it was consensual afterwards and get the story straight because he was afraid of being canceled. He's so sweet at that time that we ended up having a consensual fling afterwards. After our fling ended, he started terrible rumors about me, telling people I was manipulative, bad, awful human. He would tell people that I cut myself during sex, that I was crazy. I would hear the most awful rumors from people I just met even years later. He would continue talking about me long after we no longer interacted. This made me never reach out to people anymore. I was mortified of the rumors he'd spread and depressed over what people thought of me. Lakari is witness to the depression Mizkif caused me. He's also witness to the harassment I experienced long after the fling was over. During my relationship with Lakari, he'd regularly talk shit about me and constantly tell Lakari that he doesn't know about the real Qco. He tried poisoning our relationship the whole time. He would plant ideas into Lakari's head to start fights. I don't want to be toxic mask. I don't want to be toxic mask. I don't want to be toxic mask. How the fuck are you a man and you're letting Mizkif shit talk your partner? That's bro. It's a different generation. It's a different generation. It's a different generation. Because if it was me, I stand up for my partner and be like, stop. If I ever hear you talking about her again, there will be consequences. Like, what happened to defending your being like actually caring about the people you're with? Sorry, not trying to distract. Sorry, it strikes me as that's crazy. After the relationship with Lakari ended, Miz upped the shit talking even more. Lakari noted that it looked like Miz was actively trying to ruin my reputation. I would hear how everyone in Austin hates me because of what Miz would say. I think Emiru is super brave for coming out with her story. I struggle with posting this because I don't want to be associated with or tied with him at all, but I want to corroborate her story with my personal hell Mizkif kindly gifted me.
You can go find all of this. This is public. There are clips of this. We're both streaming the Rust event, and I thought it was going really well. I thought everyone was having fun. I was like, oh, this is great.
I mean, I
Everyone's,
just
you
want to
know,
say this, chat, that I like after the whole Mizkif, you know, covering up for the friend who like the whole sexual assault thing, the best friend, and trying to intimidate the victim and that whole shit show. I consider Mizkif to be a piece of shit, and I wanted absolutely nothing to do with him. And people would get mad at me that they, you know, if they heard you saying I don't trust this guy because of that, they would get mad at you. They would get mad at you. And it was bad for you to be like, hey, he seems like a piece of shit. I don't know why anyone watches him. What does he bring to the table? He's not a good gamer. He's not entertaining. He's creepy toward women. Like bringing on OnlyFans girls to be creepy to. Like that's his whole show. What the fuck is even that? Why do people like this piece of shit?
doing the same thing at the same time. We're all hanging out. You know, we're gonna have fun. Like I was really, really excited. And then I start seeing in my chat people start saying unofficial Ms. raid, and I'm like, what does that mean?
Ice Poseidon cameraman.
And then I check my Discord messages, and he's messaging me. He's saying like, Emmy, you know, I'm gonna kill myself. I waited, or I'm gonna KMS. I waited so long for this, etc. Basically he was upset because I had higher viewership than him. That's literally it. I had higher viewership than him. And like I said, this is during an event, so there were drops. Like everyone knows when there's drops, like it's not even fucking real. But yeah, he starts messaging me. He's really upset. I tried to tell him, I was like, bro, you should come back and play. Everyone's having fun. Everyone's like wondering where you are. But
having a partner who is a bigger streamer than me would be a fucking dream. That's my retirement plan. Like, why are people so fucking weird about viewership? Why are they so fucking weird about viewership? It blows my mind. I was so naive. When I first started streaming, I thought that other streamers liked it when you succeeded, and they were all pushing for you to, like, I naively thought like you could talk shop with other streamers because they understand, and that when you had some success, you could go to them and you could be like, hey, I'm having this success, isn't that great? No, a lot of streamers, they put the fucking evil eye on you. The moment you have a more successful stream than them, then they start hating your guts. The autism versus narcissism divide, so true, like legitimately true. And I've only really I've started to realize that everyone that I'm friends with is maybe slightly autistic. I'm starting to realize that the like narcissist versus autistic divide is like actually crazy. Like, oh my god, wait, maybe all my friends are like the slightly autistic people. Holy shit, I think you guys might be right. They're the people that care about facts, and they care about right from wrong. Is that like autistic traits? I just thought that was being well adjusted. I just thought that was being normal. He's trying to call her an animal abuser as a response. I heard about this, and it's fucking okay. Can I break some news, chat? Can I break some news? This is stuff that I personally know. Okay, this is stuff that I personally know. Now, I am a relatively large streamer on Twitch. I do pretty well, and that means that I have like the purple lounge, which is like the highest tier purple status, whatever the fuck it is. It's like the highest tier of Twitch partner. It means I have an account manager. It means that I have special treatment at Twitch events, etc., etc., etc. And that means I go into spaces that oftentimes have some of the biggest streamers on Twitch, like, you know, areas where that are set aside. You know, there's like regular Twitch partners, and then there's these partners, right? And I was hearing exactly that threat. There was a rumor that there was some sort of something, people were going to speak out against Mizkif at TwitchCon. And I heard this very rumor that Mizkif was going to say that Emiru abused her rabbits. I could directly confirm this is true. That he was that there were, and I was like, what the fuck? I could directly confirm that this was being spread at the like highest tier partner level. Like people were going like, Mizkif is saying this about her. Like this is literally true. So I can personally testify to hearing it.
yeah, he ended his stream, and then I'm still live, you know, trying to act like nothing's wrong. And in that house, I had a glass door so I could like see this was happening. He was walking behind me, making sure that I knew he was there. And by the way, so there were many ways out of that house if he wanted to leave the house that were closer to his stream room. He intentionally chose the door that was right by my room.
Here is a video of Miz losing his shit over view counts during Rust and slamming the door. Well, first of all, Mizkif botted like crazy. So why the fuck is he losing his shit? He was Mr. Botter extraordinaire.
Today is the Rust server. Chat, I'm excited. We got some stuff, dude. We're gonna start talking to people again. We're gonna hang out a little bit.
Got raw pork.
I'll fucking take it.
Would you like some raw pork?
Yeah, I'll fucking take raw pork. Hell yeah.
Enjoy.
13,500,
So I thought, why not build a
even
house
number.
up here?
Yes. I can pay rent in your house.
Okay, let's do it. Yep. Oh, wait, check this out. Come here.
Ooh.
Not bad,
The
huh?
house. Wait, our houses literally look exactly the same.
Yep.
Hello?
Team leader drops exclusive and killing Hassan.
Yeah.
I want to see Emmy. I can't believe you guys have made separate houses.
The biggest sweats, you retard.
They will come after you guys.
They're the biggest
we
sweats.
can stop them early.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it, dude. We'll join the resistance. You're spelling it wrong. Yeah, my bad.
Did you know the loud noises like door slams can literally cause heart attacks in rabbits? Yes, I do. Like, that's part of the reasons why I don't like rabbits are actually considered to be exotic pets, and not very many vets take care of rabbits because they have an extremely sensitive physiology, and so they can die from fear. They could go mentally ill from fear and just like basically die. And so you have to have a very calm and supportive environment to have rabbits as a pet. So if you're like screaming and slamming doors, that can cause rabbits to die.
No, I heard.
My rabbit passed away after 5 years because it passed away at the vet from fear because he was constipated. Yeah.
I barely slept last night. That's why I seem tired today. Because I'm honestly fucking tired, chat. I'll be honest. I'm pretty tired.
The reason why rabbits are such a good animal is that they breed really well. They're very, in fact, when rabbits dodge, it's automatic. They have a random number generation in their brain, which makes them dodge randomly so they can never be predicted. Like, they're actually one of the coolest prey animals. It's like they don't even know what direction they're gonna dodge. They have like they're actually cool as fuck. And of course they breed really well. They're very robust as far as from the environment. They can, so yes, fear fucks them up, but they have a lot of they're actually super well adapted to growing, which is why when they escaped into Australia, they fucking went crazy. When we got rabbits to Australia, like an invasive species, they went fucking crazy and dominated everything.
I'm just tired. All right, chat. I'll see you guys later. I will see you guys probably tonight, if not tomorrow. I just need a nap. I'm fucking zooted out of my mind.
What does unofficial Mizraid mean?
Guys,
Oh, he did?
Listen, why are we all acting like we haven't murdered? Like we haven't pillaged? Like we haven't had to do what we had to do?
Can you imagine being a partner with someone and they're only happy if you're inferior to them? Small dick energy. That's the smallest dick energy I've ever heard in my life. What a fucking loser. What a complete fucking loser.
To make it here where she had a one-hit advantage. She was coming after me. I had to attack back.
What the fuck is this?
And he slams the door and she jumps.
What are you? Was that a test?
You said.
Well, I have some cloth in my house.
Slams another door.
Did anyone loot me?
Yeah. Go to the restroom real quick.
Imagine having 20,000 viewers, a beautiful, successful girlfriend. You play video games for a living and you still can't be happy. You have to also keep in mind that he has absolutely nothing going for him. He's ugly. He's not funny. He's stupid. He's basically living the dream. Like, you know what I mean? Like, imagine making yourself miserable. Now, one of the things that's my superpower is I don't forget where I came from. I don't let the hedonic treadmill and the constant need to compare myself with others fuck me up. Like, sometimes other people do really well on their streams that I'm friendly with. And you know what happens? I'm like, fuck yes. That means if they're friendly with me, I'm gonna rise, all right? I don't measure myself against some other streamer and then get all butthurt when they do better. I measure myself against what do I need to survive? What do I need to hit my goals? And what could I do to improve my content? And how could I grow like my friends are growing? What about me do I need to adjust in order to be as successful as them? I see what they're doing as blazing a trail for me. Like, it actually makes no fucking sense unless you only think people are with you for your view count. And I think for Mizkif, maybe that was right.
I'll be right
there you
back. Yeah, she's trapped now.
Oh, Bonnie, look what I did.
Sick. Okay, sick. Okay, I'm stuck in here. Okay, sick.
I'm gonna make some stats.
Hello, sorry.
20 minutes later. Wow, he yelled at her for 20 minutes for doing better than him.
You had 7,000 viewers when you were playing the crane game. I used no. I used to get upset. I'm not kidding you, chat. I used to legitimately get fucking pissed because I'm like, are you fucking serious? I brought this bitch into the world, and now all of a sudden she's fucking growing faster than I was. Because I was going like this, and she was going like this. And I'm like, what the hell is this crap? What is going on here? It's the fucking Babsity effect. So I was pissed. I'm like, you were such a pussy. Is it bad? And guess what? I don't care anymore. But I don't care anymore. And I stopped caring.
If I ever
Oh, she'd be done. I'd pull the plug. Chat, it's like if she beats me in Mario 64. That's literally what it'd be like if she has more viewers. I feel like she 2-0'd me, and I would just not have that.
Dickless energy. Dickless energy.
I feel like that's pretty apparent, at least to me. He starts walking behind my stream and slamming the door so loud that my noise gate can pick it up. So even people on my stream are able to hear this is happening. And he slams it so hard and so many times that the front door literally broke. The lock did not work anymore. It didn't work for months, and it would just make this horrible sound that I would have to hear like every fucking day. But anyway, so I hear him back there doing this, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I tell my stream, I'm like, hey, guys, I'll be right back. I get up and I go talk to him, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? And he's like, Emmy, like, I hate all of you guys. Like, all you guys do is just take from me, and like, I'm just done. Like, I'm just done. And I was like, is this like really happening?
This is Mizkif's most popular clip.
Why are your settings like this? These aren't even the default settings.
That's his most popular clip of all time?
Happening because of Rush drops, and he was like, I don't know what else to do. He was like going off on me, like basically saying that he hated me. And I was like, well, I don't know what to do now. And he was like, go finish your stream so that people don't know anything's wrong. And I stop in the bathroom outside my stream room, and I'm like, you know, checking my makeup, trying to make sure people can't tell that I was like crying. And I'm only in there for like 30 seconds, and he comes and like looms in the doorway. He's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm just checking my makeup. So I go back and I stream for a couple hours, finish the stream, do my best to just like, you know, carry on the show basically. And yeah, after that, like I said, was when things started to get really fucking bad. It was like something just snapped. For the rest of the week, he streamed the Rust event. He got all the drop viewers. I'm sure he was very happy. I mean, good for him. And during that time, I obviously was like thinking and processing a lot of what happened. But I mean, it was a lot because this person was at the time like kind of, I mean, it was like my partner and my best friend and like the only person that like I really talked to ever, or like at least off stream. So I mean, it was a lot. But the very next stream, I went live about a week after that, and I announced that I was planning to move. I knew that I would have to move. So I was like, okay, I have to go live and say this so that, you know, kind of force myself to commit to it. Does that make sense? Obviously, I didn't move out right away, but after like all of that Rust stuff happened was when the other domestic abuse stuff really started. He would destroy furniture in front of me. He would throw things in front of me and near me. Destroy walls. Again, you can go see this in some of his VODs in his bedroom. The holes in the wall. There would be times where he was upset at me, and I would go to my stream room and literally lock myself in to get away from him, and he would be banging on the door and screaming at me. And at the time, he also would more often do things like going, like if we were driving in the car together, he would be going like 150 miles an hour. And
by the way, Maya confirmed that he would also do that to her. So I'm sorry, chat, but that's a fact now. As far as I'm concerned, that happened. Like, as far as I'm concerned, he was doing that shit. And that is honestly a death threat. That's honestly assault. Like, I have you in the car and you trusted me as a passenger, and then I start driving 150 miles an hour to force you to do shit. That is a threat. That is fucking crazy.
one time he even said like, well, now we're both gonna die.
Wow, confirmed Miz did it to him recently in LA.
Like threatening to kill both of us. This wasn't like even necessarily because of me or like because of something I did a lot of the time. Like one of the times that it happened, it was because we were just getting food and he was on his phone and he saw that Mr. Beast had put out a video and Mr. Beast had invited another streamer and he was like, oh, Mr. Beast invited this guy to his video, not me. And I was like, oh, well, you know, like, huh? Yeah, I guess so. Which led to him going 150 miles per hour in the car and talking about killing himself while doing it. And then at home,
I legitimately don't know other streamers. Like, I don't understand other streamers' brains because people have said stuff like to me, like, what are the ways that H3 attacked me is they were like, Mike wasn't in the content nuke, or I'm sorry, the content cop. Mike wasn't in the content cop, and I was like, bitch, I didn't want to be in the like, who cares? I didn't know iDubbbz at the time. What the fuck? Why would I give a shit? That was iDubbbz video. I didn't know iDubbbz. Like, what? And also, that's not my fucking vibe, dude. My vibe is not jumping around and doing Fortnite dances, okay? I only have played Fortnite twice, and it was both times for fundraisers, okay? I'm not a Fortnite guy, okay? I am a political commentator and social commentator. I'm not like, and people be like, oh my God, I can't believe so-and-so was in there and you weren't. It's like, what the fuck? Good for them. Good for them. Who gives a shit? But some other streamers, they really think like that. They're like, oh my God, there was somebody else I know got an opportunity and it didn't go to me. I am so slighted. It's like, well, how do you live like that? How do you live like that? You're going to drive yourself insane and people are going to hate you.
When we were going to the West Coast Customs shit, it's not just he was just doing an awesome. We were going to the West Coast Customs stream thing. Some lady honked at Miz and I guess, I don't know, triggered what was basically road rage from him, where then he like pulled in front of her and then kept cutting her off and basically drove like a fucking maniac. And I didn't even know what to fucking say. I probably should have said something to him. I'm gonna be honest, I was still waking up at the time, so I hadn't fully processed it. And I'm kind of like a little bit of a passenger princess, so I'm like, you know, dicking around on my phone. But that shit was just not so Emmy was saying all that stuff. I was like, oh shit, he literally did that with me in the car. That's not like some past thing that he only like, and that's not fucking okay. Like you don't get to use your fucking car as a fucking weapon. That's actually when we were going to the West Coast.
Soulless Viking says, Mike, Jesus Christ, my wife works at a domestic violence shelter and Emiru would be given a room the same day if she told him about this behavior. It is so common for these behaviors to escalate to physicality/lethality incidents.
other things would happen. Like I'd be trying to sleep and he would scream at me and say that it was all my fault that he felt insecure. There was a time that I walked into a room that he was in, and as soon as he saw me there, he threw his phone at the dresser and started yelling because I had posted a YouTube video within the same couple of days as him, and mine was doing better. So basically, I felt like I was kind of stuck in a loop where I felt like I had to constantly prove my value to not be thrown away. But at the same time, if I ever performed too well, I was going to be punished for it. And it just felt like a very rough situation to be stuck in because, I mean, streaming is my hobby and my job. Like, it's a huge part of my life, even before, you know, I met him and became like a larger creator. I remember thinking all the time how it felt like he hated me, but he still wanted me around his channel and like his thumbnails and everything. And this is still before I moved out. There was a time where it was the tension in the house was so unbearable that I would sneak out and I would sneak into Esfan's house using my code. And Esfan didn't know why I was doing this. He saw me a couple times. I'd be like, oh, I'm just gonna go take a nap in your guest room. He'd be like, yeah, that's fine. I would sneak into Esfan's house just to have some time of like peace and quiet. But eventually, he figured out where I was going and he would go over to Esfan's house to keep telling me off. And there was a time that he did it, and I was laying in the guest room bed, and one of the roommates in that house had come to see like why I was crying, and they were standing in the corner, and he came in and he was very physically aggressive. He was like, Emmy, like, what are you doing? Like, angry. And then as soon as he turned and saw this other person standing there, he instantly like deflated and changed his tone. He was like, oh, Emmy, I was wondering where you were. Like, are you coming home? And
yeah, we saw that.
That roommate like later asked me about it. They were like, what the fuck was that? Like, are you okay? And I was just like, oh, it's nothing, because I felt like a lot of the reason that I didn't tell the people around me was because I felt like no one would understand, or even if they understood, it would just be a burden to them, because all of our streams and social circles and communities are so intertwined. I was like, maybe it's just better for me to deal with this and like hope things get better, basically. I honestly don't even remember what the final straw was that I finally was like, okay, it's time to go. Like, I prepared the house that I lived in before this one, like pretty much immediately after the like breaking the front door thing happened, but I was still like scared and unsure. So I don't remember what the final straw was, but I remember the day I took Cheddar to the house, because he just randomly started like screaming at Cheddar. It was like, get that fucking cat out of my house. So I just grabbed Cheddar and put him in my car and grabbed his litter box and took him there, and I just left him there and never took him back to that house. And then I think like within several days after that was when I finally moved out. It was on very short notice. Like I said, I don't even remember what the final straw was because so many things happened, but there was a time when I just knew, called some movers. I said, hey, can you come tomorrow? And they were like, yeah, and then I literally moved the next day. Moving out into the last house that I lived in was a huge step mentally, because like I said, a big part of why I moved into the first house in Texas in the first place was because I felt like it was the safest option for me, because, you know, I am a girl where it's like kind of scary for me to be living alone. So it was very hard, and at the time, even though like all these other things had already happened, I was very hopeful that me and him could be cordial. Eventually, like, things would be fine, at least publicly, like for stream reasons, that, you know, everyone could just keep streaming like nothing had happened. And, you know, at the time I thought that would be the best thing to do, and I felt like if I, you know, separated myself from him without explaining anything, people that watched us wouldn't understand and would attack me. I was yeah, I mean, it ended up happening anyway. So, but
and there's that classic Darvo we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. After I moved out, we, like I said, still kept in contact. I had hope that somehow things would get better. He would always beg for me to come back, and he would promise therapy and change, and even talk to other people and like kind of present like, oh, I want to change. I want to be better for Emmy or whatever, you know? There was a short period in October where we had broken up because honestly it doesn't matter now. And when that happened, I honestly felt relieved because I was like, okay, finally it's like on his terms. So that means he'll be satisfied and he'll be able to say it was his choice and he'll leave me alone. Because whenever I would try to push for it, felt like I couldn't like really sever it, if that makes sense. But I mean, obviously, hence me doing this stream, that was not the end of it.
Hey, Roach.
A week after this breakup, he asked to come over to my house and talk for closure. He came to my house and I was crying like crazy because the emotions were just very high because I was dealing with a lot of major shifts in my life as a result of me attempting to start to try
Fox
to
Knives. I know, I saw.
distance myself from him.
Not really relevant.
He, so yeah, we were just talking and I was crying a lot. He started to try to comfort me by hugging me while I was sitting on the couch and holding me really close to him. And when this was happening, we hadn't talked in quite a while, and I'm usually very uncomfortable with being touched a lot by people that I'm not in a relationship with. But I let him hold me while I was crying, and he started kissing me in my face, and I let him do it. I was still sobbing a lot. And then suddenly he tried to climb on top of me and aggressively shoved his hand down my pants, and I screamed.
Obviously, chat, this is a trigger warning for descriptions of sexual abuse and assault.
Yeah. And when I screamed, he jumped off me like a cat, and instead of apologizing or checking if I was okay, he said, "I feel weird now. I feel like I did something wrong. I have to go." And he immediately left my house while I was still crying without checking if I was okay or anything. And at the time, I was still making excuses for him, and I was still afraid of causing trouble for other streamers around us, or making things weird for viewers. I know that probably sounds crazy, but I just felt this pressure, I had to try to keep things together, if that makes sense. I felt like I'd caused trouble for so many other people if I ever said anything bad about him, or if I caused rifts in our friend group or streamer group. I tried to stay on good terms with him and hold everything in, and also I still cared about him a lot, and I still at that point had hope that things would get better and that he would improve. And he'd also always hammer into me how he never physically abused me because he never hit me, and he would coach me and tell me to tell people or other streamers who were asking about it because they were concerned. He would say tell them that I never hit you, make sure that they know that I never hit you. Around the same time, this was during OnlyFans 2, so I guess December, he would often message me in the middle of my streams and berate me for things like playing the same class as him in WoW because he thought it would make people think that I was better than him. And again, like I said earlier, I felt like I was stuck in a constant loop where I had to perform well to not be thrown away, but if I performed too well, I was going to be punished. And
what the fuck?
I actually wanted to show some of those messages because obviously a lot of these things I'm not gonna fully read these out.
The way that misogyny works in our society is fucking insane. I don't want my girlfriend to be too good at the vidya game
because I honestly just don't want to read them out, but I feel like I want to show them to kind of show what I'm saying.
20 different messages? Jeez. How can I not tank as a warrior in dungeons? Because you aren't a tank? When I said I don't want to be a tank, I meant I don't want to tank in raid, which is still true because I don't know what I'm doing. You do not need to tank in dungeons. So now I'm going to get so much shit nonstop. Don't ever pull aggro. Emmy is better. Emmy this. I can't have anything, Emmy. I want you to imagine this is your life. The capacity of people to fumble life is unlimited.
And I am planning to probably post the VOD of this somewhere, so if,
Yes, I'm still wanting to be DPS, but for dungeons, I have to tank, yeah. You really don't, you don't. How can I not tank in dungeons? You straight don't have to because you're a DPS. He was telling her to be a DPS-only warrior while leveling. Now, if you don't play WoW, you may not understand how this works. But when you're leveling as a tank, as a warrior, you oftentimes tank 5-player dungeons because they don't require like super specialized gears or talents. But your class, especially a classic WoW, better designed to like hold at. It has those tools in its toolkit, so you can like run more dungeons if you take the tanking role, even though you plan on playing DPS at full level. And sometimes you can also tank dungeons as a DPS warrior, because even though you have less mitigation, meaning you take more damage from the mobs, you're still more able to like take the damage than like people that have lower armor classes. This is just the right way to play the character as you're leveling. He's telling her to be fucking more useless because he cannot play the game correctly. And he doesn't want to be compared to her.
You want to read this later? That's fine, I guess. And again, this was all happening
This is the most
while I was
embarrassing
live.
shit.
You can literally go find the stream and see me trying to deal with this
You're back.
while I'm live in the middle of a dungeon, trying to just play the fucking game. Oh fuck, I think Tank Emmy, do it. Let me handle all the hate, the criticism, the you're worse than Emmys. The Emmy is so much better. The people saying you're better in every chat. The comparison says nobody will ever be on my side. Let me deal with it. You have fun. I asked you not to become a tank. You didn't listen. And now it's the classic, what was I supposed to do? I'm not dealing with this. And like I said, you can go find the stream. For context, I was playing Warrior in World of Warcraft in like a level 24 dungeon. It was like Silverpine. Like, it was just like, it wasn't even like, it was like dog shit gameplay, I'm gonna be honest. Like, so, yeah. You can read that later, I suppose, if
I know that a lot of people have talked about this, and maybe you all are tired of hearing about it, but I feel like all of us that are on this platform, you know, and we experienced it in my community, right? We experienced Darvo, we experienced misogyny, and I feel like I don't want to like skip over these statements because I don't know how other people covered it, and I want to talk to you about it as well. So I'm sorry if you already saw this, you know, in the past or whatever. But I'm trying to make sure that we all are on the same page about what I think is common in these communities and things like that. And I promise we'll get back to politic tomorrow. If we don't end up getting there today, you know, we will be back to my regularly normal news shit that isn't about Twitch or my personality or whatever the fuck. I'm sorry for I actually consider these streams not to be drama, because I think drama is a way of like lowering the importance of bad behavior on Twitch and making it seem like, oh no, it's not that big of a deal. It's okay for people to act up. This is not drama. This is stuff that is like important for platform-wide culture, and we are part of Twitch. These are crimes. This is abuse. And if I ignore it just because it isn't my typical content of like the news straight from the AP or whatever, I think that's wrong. So again, I'd rather have a slightly, I'd rather people understand where I'm coming from. Oh, Vio made me food. Thank you, Vio. Bao buns? Thank you, Vio. Appreciate you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Vio learned how to make bao buns with like biscuit dough, and it's a pretty good hack from yesterday.
This isn't drama, and if you come into my chat and you say the word drama about somebody literally detailing years of a cycle of abuse, both domestic abuse, verbal abuse, and sexual assault, I will ban you fucking immediately.
I mean, I completely agree. And I kind of look down on chatters that are not interested in the platforms that they're on. I'll be completely honest with you, chat. I do kind of look down on chatters who are like uninterested in the content of talking about misogyny, talking about the problems that we have on the platform. If you're on Twitch all the time, even if it's just to watch me, it doesn't make sense to me that you're going to ignore what is happening to some of the biggest streamers, even if you don't normally like their content. It's odd.
Yeah, like I said before, hold on. I was constantly trying so hard to compromise with him because I wanted to be cool, and I wanted us to be able to coexist in this.
The struggle for freedom is not about gaining power over others, but about creating a society of mutual respect and equality. Exactly. Thank you, Emma Goldman.
Same streaming sphere, but I felt like I could never win, and he hated my whole existence, like ever since that.
The reflexive anti-drama response is so annoying. People do it in Hassan's chat nonstop, especially when he tries to defend himself against smears and slander. Yeah, it's parasocial, actually. They think that Hassan can't control himself and they need to protect Hassan from getting himself baited into the drama. And so they're trying to control Hassan's content because they feel like that's protecting Hassan. And that's parasocial weird shit. Let us use our platforms to defend ourselves. People slandering us is to disrupt our political effort.
One stream where I had like a little bit more viewers than him.
Not only that, but Destiny and Ethan fans will tell him to move on so he doesn't cover their bad behavior. Exactly.
And he would say that
Dan Saltzman promoted his tool off this. Thank God Mizkif did not use react.dev or we would never know how evil he is. Is he trying to sell his tool to abusers so they can cover up their abuse?
it was my fault that his stream was dying because most of his viewers liked me, and whenever he hit on another girl, they would be confused or not take it seriously because they knew that me and him were together privately. And he said if he would be able to hit on other girls and convince them that it was real, he would get his career back. That was like started within the last couple of weeks that we spoke to each other. He started saying terrible things to me about other streamers in Austin. In particular, one specific streamer who I know there's a lot of people that know he has beef with certain streamers. It was not one of those streamers. It was someone who to this day has been nothing but nice to him. He would say horrible things about this person, like about them in their stream, and it was very hard to listen to. And just in general, he would say horrible things about other streamers in Austin, like, I quote, "I hate everyone here. You are all useless to me. You're worthless to me because it does nothing for my stream anymore to collab with any of you." And him saying that was the final straw for me. The day that he said that to me about other people was the first day that I ever, for the first time, started to ignore his calls and messages. And because of that, he even threatened to come to my house if I didn't answer. But I did end up calling him back, and I spoke to him, and I basically told him that I felt like I could finally see things for what they were. And he started panicking, and he was super apologetic, and he was saying he didn't want to lose me, which wasn't the first time that he like did something like that and was like, you know, basically begging me not to leave. But that was definitely the most extreme time.
It's so weird and abusive to commodify your friendship like that. Like, you are not making my numbers go up right now, therefore you're useless to me. What the fuck? That's not how normal people think, man. That's not how normal people think.
And again, like I said, I always had the hope things would be cordial or that, you know, we could be fine with each other. So I agreed, and we agreed we were going to talk about all of that. We talked about it about a week later, and instead of apologizing for anything, he basically told me that he realized he needed to go to Japan and LA to get his viewership back up, and he was basically too young to focus on friendships and relationships. And it was I mean, despite everything, like I said, I still cared about him. It was still hard, and I mean, it was like a mix of feelings, you know, like devastated, but I was also so relieved. But because of the past incidents during like other fights and times I would try to separate myself from him, past incidents during those times of him manipulating me into staying close with him and giving him more chances, sexually assaulting me, the abuse, and just him generally not being a very nice person. After that, I decided that the only solution and way for me to move forward, I made the hard decision, but I know now for sure the right one, was to finally completely cut contact with him. I knew it'd be very hard because our careers and our communities were so intertwined, but I knew that I had to do it and that there was no other choice. So I have not spoken to him since January of this year. It's been 10 months, but you think that's the end. It is unfortunately not. I haven't spoken to him since January of this year. It only took a couple of weeks, but soon the messages started. He has attempted to contact me over 40 times individually this year in individual texts, Discord messages, Instagram DMs, and phone calls. And I'm just gonna show those.
I think the more like really important thing is he's going to do a right-wing grift. He's going to do a weird right-wing grift. And I'm really curious how right-wing content creators are going to handle it. Are they going to let him get away with it, or are they going to say no? He basically admitted that. The anti-Hassan attack arc incoming. I don't even want to look at this guy's fucking face, chat. I'm going to be completely honest with you. There are so many women coming out and saying that he assaulted them or mistreated them. Like, I don't even really want to see his fucking face, man.
That's like the only warning you're gonna get.
The show, basically.
The only warning you're gonna get, yeah. Sorry, I accidentally clicked on
And at first,
Gremlo.
At first it starts simple. Be confusing messages, or like him expressing he was worried about things. At first it wasn't anything weird.
I'm sure Gremlo would say this is terrible. I don't want anyone to think that I'm saying that Gremlo is okay with what Mizkif did to Emiru. But I think the problem is when it touches him, he easily falls into the same patterns of, you know, obviously fights over emotes are nowhere near the scale of this kind of thing. So I feel bad even comparing the two. But misogynistic culture is something that we all have to wrestle with. And, you know, telling women they're lying, telling women you're not going to listen to them, telling women that they're hysterical when they come to you with evidence as well. It's not just even an accusation. It's with facts and proofs and receipts. It's fucking weird, man. And it just bothers me. It bothers me so much that we don't have any place on Twitch where we know that people are going to act in the right way. And that's what I'm trying to build. And I'm a flawed person. I'm not going to be perfect. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to get emotional and be out of pocket. You know, like this is going to happen. If you're looking for someone who's flawless 100% of the time, there's no such, that person does not exist. That person does not exist. I want you to understand that person does not exist. Every one of us is flawed. Every one of us has bad takes or internalized bigotries that we don't know yet. And if your standard is you're never going to make mistakes, well, then no one's going to fulfill that. The question is, what happens when you do make a mistake? And when I got called out for mistakes I made or clips that looked really bad, I wanted to model to you how we're supposed to react to that, which is reflect on it, apologize, deal with it, and work to be better. That's the promise that I can keep. Being perfect, I can't keep that promise. And I'm really, really disappointed with the way that people in these communities have acted when Vio said, hey, you're harassing me. Hey, I'm being harassed. I'm being defamed. I'm being lied about. I'm being abused. I'm being ostracized. I'm being dehumanized. And for me, that's when I don't fuck with you. It's not that you don't make mistakes. It's that when your mistakes are shown to you, you double down and you go on the attack. That to me is unforgivable. That's where I draw the line. That's where I'm like, okay, this guy's actually a bad person. Because making a mistake is human. Doubling down on it, going on the attack, trying to cover it up, that's when you become a bad person, because you're choosing to harm people that you have harmed. That stretches over politics. And that becomes about your character. I saw that, guys, I don't want to see the stupid fucking Ice Poseidon shit or the Mitch Jones shit. Just stop linking me that. It's completely irrelevant.
This is not someone who loves or cares about you.
The M dashes. The M dashes. Mizkif with the M dashes. Imagine going to Chat GPT. There is no fucking way that Mizkif is using M dashes. Like, come on, man. Like, come on.
And keep in mind, this is only things that he sent to me. I can't document all the things that people told me that he was saying. And it's just kind of a funny side note, I guess. I would like to highlight this message because it doesn't really matter, but I ran it through the ChatGPT checker and all the highlights. Like I said, doesn't really matter. I just thought it was interesting. But
that's so
yeah,
cringe.
Like I said at first, the messages were just simple things, like him saying he was worried about things or saying no one was talking to him, which I don't think was even true at the time. I think he was just saying that to try to guilt me into responding to him. I'm not sure about that, of course. This also extended to in-person interactions, because initially I made the mistake of thinking that I only had to cut him off through private communication, and you know, we would be fine going to the same events and parties and such. I also had to start hold on, I'm still fucking sick. I made the mistake of thinking that I only had to cut him off through personal private communication, but I also had to start avoiding going to the same parties or places I was worried he'd be in person, because this was after he came back from his first trip to Japan. There was a party that I attended several months after I first went no contact with him. I was aware that he would be there, and I thought it'd be fine. I thought it wouldn't be a big deal. I thought I'll just let him have his space, I'll have my space, you know, it's not a big deal. We're adults, right? During this party, I felt like he was following me around and monitoring me, but I thought that I was just being paranoid. I was like, it's probably just in your head. I was hanging out with Nick and Catchy and a couple other friends. And at some point, Nick was like, it's too fucking loud down here. Let's go upstairs. No one's upstairs. Let's just go, you know, chill in a room and like talk where it's not so loud. And I was like, okay. So they, as a group, went upstairs first without me, but it took me a bit longer to get up there because someone like stopped me and was talking to me. And I did feel like, I mean, he was like standing pretty close to that person. I felt like he was watching me, but again, I thought I was just being paranoid. But I went upstairs, I was hanging out with Nick and Catchy and, you know, our other friends. And then about 30 minutes later, the room that we're in, the door opens. It's Miz. He opens the door, makes eye contact with me, goes, ooh, and then closes the door and leaves. And I was like, what the fuck? But again, I was still trying my best to, you know, give the benefit of the doubt. Like, you know, maybe it's just like an awkward situation or something. But a couple months later, the person that he was hanging out with that night reached out to me privately and was apologizing. And I was like, why? And they're like, I just felt like I had to apologize to you because I felt so bad and so embarrassed of what was going on. Like, yes, he wanted to see what you were doing. He was saying like, I want to go see what's upstairs, and he was checking every room. And then after he opened the room that you were in with Nick, he closed the door and started laughing, and then he just wanted to talk about, you know, how you guys broke up for the next like however many hours of the night. So I was like, wow, okay.
This is like psychotic stalker shit. Like, that's the thing, is like, this is starting to cross the line. Like, when you break up with someone or someone breaks up with you and they tell you, hey, I just want us to not communicate anymore, I want us to just go no contact, and you keep it like trying to contact them, trying to find them, trying to follow them, try to show up at their work, that is stalking. Showing up at their home, this is stalking. This is criminal, and this is intimidating, and it's scary to have this shit happen to you. Trust me, I've been there.
That's good to know, I guess. The next story that I want to tell involves what happened to me, Valkyrie, and Cinna earlier this year when we were attacked at the Santa Monica Pier.
You guys
because,
remember that?
That was obviously...
We talked about it on here when it happened.
Hold on, let me close all these fucking texts. I don't want to look at them. They're still on my desktop. Where was I? Yeah, so... Yeah, it happened March 3rd of this year. A lot of people were talking about it, talking about how me, Ray, and Cinna were attacked, which was not an issue. Like, we had no issue with that. Like, obviously, it's big news. People are going to talk about it. It should be talked about. We had no issues with anyone talking about it and covering it, and that included him. I was fine with that. He joined in on that whole thing of people going live to talk about it. And again, I'd like to remind people at this point, we were already a couple months into me being no contact with him, making it clear I didn't want anything to do with him. And so during this stream, he was covering what happened to me, Ray, and Cinna. He decided that he was going to tell more of my personal stalker stories that I've never personally talked about or shared publicly myself. And one of these stories was one that like no one knew at all, and like it just felt so shitty because at the time that those things happened, you know, all the people that lived in that area together, we all came together and we all kind of decided, and this was heavily pushed by him, we should never talk about this because, you know, people are going to be weird. It puts Emmy in more danger, and, you know, it gives people ideas, so we're never going to talk about it. But, you know, of course, as soon as there's some big drama that he's not involved in, and he finds a way to, you know, bring up, oh, I was there for something that happened to Emmy, he does it. He was on his stream talking about these personal stories of mine, and I caught wind of it. And by the way, it was also so frustrating not say anything at this time, because the way he told those stories, he kind of framed himself as like the hero. He was like, oh, I held the stalker at gunpoint. No. The only person who ever came into contact face to face with that stalker before the police came was Bonnie. Bonnie is the person who found that guy outside, went inside, told everyone, called the police. The police came. All Miz did was he stood far away from the front door, behind glass and metal, with a gun. Yeah, I mean, I understand. Still very scary, but...
I mean, according to what I believe about sexual consent, I think that what Qco described Mizkif doing is rape. If a person is so drunk that they're not able to express their consent and you have sex with them, you're raping them. And that is a baseline feminist take. This is not some sort of radical take. And in many states, it's true. If somebody's super drunk and you have sex with them, that's fucking rape. And it sounds like she wasn't interested in it. So that to me sounds like she's accusing him of rape. Now, maybe in her mind, she doesn't think about it like that. But from what I believe with consent, if a person is not actively and enthusiastically consenting to sex, you don't have it with them. That's just reality. And if you disagree with that, you are fucked up.
Why are you acting like you... If anyone deserves credit for that, it's Bonnie. Like, it's literally stolen valor. I'm so glad I finally get to say that, because she is the one who, like, kept everyone in those two houses safe, not him. Anyway, back to the original thing, the Ray and Senna stuff. So, I was obviously panicking. Like, I just had this horrible thing happen to me the night before. It was, like, huge, like, public, millions of people seeing it. And then my crazy ex-boyfriend is going live talking about more of my personal stuff. And I'm like crying, and Senna and Ray are like, what's wrong? And I tell them, and I'm like panicking. I'm like, I need to call so-and-so, I need to call so-and-so, I need to call so-and-so. Like these different people that I was like, they can contact him, because I did not want to contact him. So Ray, Senna, some of me and Miz's mutual business partners, and Asmongold were all messaging him to stop. And by the way, Asmongold told me that he tried to call Miz while he was talking, and it rang 3 times and then hung up, which means that he saw it and he just wanted to be able to keep talking, because yeah, anyway, just a little note. I don't know exactly what like the other people said to him, but Ray and Senna told me that they were messaging him being like, bro, like, stop, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? And he was messaging them, who were also equally as traumatized as me, of course. They had gone through the same thing. Oh, what am I doing wrong? I'm letting people know what, you know, girls go through. Was that your job? Well, anyway, yeah, that all happened a couple of months into me being no contact with him. And yeah, he was arguing with Ray and Senna while they're trying to be like, bro, like, stop, like, you're making it worse. He finished talking about my stuff and then reacted to Senna and Ray's whole stream where they were crying, addressing their communities, made sure to react to that, and then immediately went offline. So yeah, that was a terrible weekend. I got threatened to be stabbed, and then the next day, my weird ex was going live trying to self-insert so that he could make sure to farm his own clips. After that incident, his attempts to talk to me only ramped up. I showed those texts. We went back to Japan, and during that trip, he was texting, calling me, trying to call me quite a lot, begging me to take him back. And at the same time, I heard that he was reaching out to quite a few other streamers who know both of us, and he was crying to them about how he wanted to get back together and how he thought someday we would reconnect and eventually get married. I don't think he even meant that, but I hope not. But I assume he did that with the hope that they would relay the messages back to me, since I wasn't talking to him. And I mean, some of them did.
Honestly, I think he is a credible threat. Like, he sounds like a credible threat to her safety himself. Like, I don't know either of these people. I have heard the Mizkif is gonna say Emiru killed her rabbits if she says anything about him. Like, I heard that at TwitchCon. Like, that was so out there that I heard it at TwitchCon in the like, you know, the elite partner lounge, whatever the fuck it's called. And that's fucking weird. That's fucking weird, man.
I also had a couple other streamers report to me that he would obsessively watch my stream and not in a like, oh, I wonder what Emmy's doing right now way, or like having my stream open. He would be obsessively and attentively hate watching my stream, like watching my stream and just saying horrible things almost every time that I've been live this year. And they tell me that he would want to discuss how he believed I still wanted him. Interesting, considering I never replied. And he would ask other guys if they thought I had slept with anyone this year. They'd be like, I don't fucking know, man. And then they told me he would say stuff like, no, there's no way she's done that. She's not like that. And she's probably waiting for me. Just really
This is delusional stalker shit. This is delusional stalker shit. Like, batshit crazy delusional stalker shit. What the fuck is he talking about? She should absolutely get a restraining order immediately. What the fuck? I mean, obviously she's in charge of what she decides to do, but if it were me, if I were her friend and I were advising her, which I'm not, I don't know her, just hearing these facts as a neutral third party, you need to go to the authorities. I know, chat. Anarchists are mad at me. I'm saying that you should go to the authorities against a creepy stalker. I know that's not what an abolitionist would do or whatever the fuck, but I think it's good to get a restraining order from a creepy ex. Mizkif's receding hairline. Okay, dude. Of all the, like, I get what you're trying to do. I get the energy. Come on, man. Come on. A little bit more serious than him being bald.
Fucking gross stuff like that. And a couple of streamers in LA also told me that he was telling people that me and him still talk all the time, but we simply weren't together anymore because I was too mature and I was not ready. I was too immature. But yeah, you couldn't see from the messages I showed. I'm not sure if, like, I mean, people can go back and read them. He was begging me to take him back for the majority of this year, which was 7 or 8 months total. And like I said, some of those messages were even, I believe, ChatGPT. Not that it really matters, it's just interesting. As of today, it's been about 2 months since he has attempted to contact me directly. I think because about 2 months ago is when he started kind of getting scared that I might have been, like, telling people things. Which, again, I wasn't going out of my way to do it, but if anyone ever asked me, I wasn't gonna lie to them. I mentioned this at the beginning before I started, like, fully telling the story. I heard from my friends, other streamers, and my employees that he had cooked up a plot that if I ever tried to talk about him, like, about the abuse or anything else, he would try to go live and say that I killed my rabbits. And I was told that he approached...
As I said before, chat, I literally heard this rumor at TwitchCon. This rumor was so widespread that I heard it. I heard this rumor that Mizkif was going to do this at TwitchCon. So she's telling the absolute truth. I could personally confirm it, that he was spreading this.
Several streamers who were around us a lot when we lived together and asked if they would basically back him up, and
if Mike heard it, everybody was hearing it.
Obviously, they're not insane.
By the way, the reason why I heard it is because he was trying to intimidate her to not speak out. You understand? Like, he was trying to intimidate her by spreading these rumors so that she would feel like she couldn't say anything because he would come out and with the proof or whatever. And as I said, chat, coming out and speaking out against misogyny, that hurts your career. It hurts your career to stand up to fucking abusive men, abusive white men, right? Like, it doesn't help you. Maybe your core audience will support you, you know? A lot of people will be like, oh, I just don't want to deal with the drama, and they'll throw their hands up. They'll say, well, what you're doing, you know, this is distracting from your mission. This is making the vibe shit. I get this stuff all the time. Whenever I stand up to somebody, I get that crap.
Even something happened this weekend at TwitchCon. One of my employees told me he went up to them and he threatened them, saying, if Emmy ever tries to talk about me, I will destroy her. Whatever that means. Within the same night, he also texted one of my best friends, and he would have known that I would have been with this girl. He texted her saying, hey, worried about her, hope she's okay. You know, right after he just said to my employee and other people that he was gonna try to destroy my life. Yeah, all
Open
this-
Presents, thank you so much for gifting so many subs to the chat. 25 subs. Appreciate you, brother.
Same night. And
we lost some subscribers over the weekend, which, you know, it is what it is. As I said before, if you're gonna leave my community because I stand up for the women and MBs in my life, then I'm okay with that. Fucking leave. I'm never going to do what's wrong because of what was quote good for my stream. Fuck my stream compared to doing what's wrong. I don't give a shit. So thank you for supporting the stream. I do appreciate it.
yeah, that was Saturday. So that pretty much leads us to today. Feel like it's clear I've spent the last year of my life cutting him off and
Mike,
building a new
myself,
life
because
with
I'm broke,
people.
forgive me. Gramsci's homegirl. Holy shit. A 50. Guys, I'm not trying to shill right now, but I do appreciate you. I do appreciate you. I'm just saying, like, in general, and it's hurt me over the years too. Like, it has actually hurt me because there's a lot of streamers out there that think that I'm out to get people and things like that because I've stood against the grain, right? I've stood against the grain. Stood against the grain with Destiny. I stood against the grain with Vosh. I stood against the grain with Keffels. I stood against the grain with a lot of fucking people that were abusive. Oh, the fifth column. You know, like I stood against people when they attacked female creators for years, and I got made fun of it by, you know, by some of the top streamers. People called me a simp because I defended streamers from misogynistic abuse years ago. I'm never gonna stop. I'm not doing this because it's good for my stream, or I'm not doing this because it is the good strategy. Do you think being like people saying, oh, you're being awoke, that's good for you? Are you fucking nuts? That has never been good for you. It's never been good for you to stand up against the misogynistic culture of this platform. Thank you everybody for supporting the stream. I appreciate you. And it looks like we have a treasure train going on, which means they're discounted. But I appreciate you. Bastalos, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Everybody for resubbing, appreciate you. Yammerstan, thank you for the tier 3. Did I miss anybody? Anonymous Gifter, Ben Shen, Sickly Boy, thank you all for supporting the stream. Really do appreciate it. Tread87, did I miss anybody? Open Presents, thanks to the 25. Gramsci's Homegirl, Hammond Fist. Thank you guys, gals, non-binary pals. Appreciate the support. Really do. Mike Permute, thank you for the 5.
People that actually care about me, doing my best to move on peacefully without causing any drama. I did not want to do this. A lot of other creators actually told me that after his other allegations in 2022, if I wasn't the first person to stand up for him and start appearing on his channel again, they do not think that they would have gone back to helping him with his content. So I always tried to keep things private, always tried to make things better, had hope that things would get better, you know, tried to be supportive, and my thanks that I got for all of that was abuse and resentment. And for all of 2025, all of this year, harassment and hatred from him and his community while he was the whole time.
I don't stay for follower count. I stay because you stand for what's right. You and Hassan radicalized me. I feel braver now than I did before watching you. Thank you for standing up to bullies, Mike. I mean, listen, let me tell you something about myself, not to make it about me, but I'm telling you this because it'll understand why I am the way I am. I had to move every 3 years growing up, sometimes less time than that. And if you are somebody that's coming into a completely new state, a completely new country, on your own, new schools, losing all your friends, losing your support network, and I did that for every couple of years, I went through that. And every time you go into a new place, let me tell you, some kids are cruel, and they would try to see what they could get away with. They could see if you were a victim or not. And I learned being in a new place is prison rules. Okay? Somebody tries to bully you, you have to stand up for yourself, and you've got to stand up for yourself hard. And you have to let people know that you are not a victim. And so maybe that scarred me. Maybe that was not the right way to grow up as a kid, is constantly losing your support network and then having to make new friends along the way. And maybe that taught me that to be a little bit too independent. Maybe that taught me to be a little bit too mouthy and a little bit too aggressive. But it's always been my instinct when somebody tries to fuck with me or bully those around me is to confront them right away, face to face, and let them know I'm not going to stand for it. And that's the only way I know how to be, because that's what worked for me. That's what made people realize that I wasn't their victim to fuck with, is I confronted them, not behind the scenes, not mean girl shit, but face to face right away. I know what you're doing and I'm not going to stand for it. And what are you going to do about it? Are you going to keep doing it? And if so, we have a problem. That has always been my character, because that's the only thing that ever worked for me. And you know what? It did work. Once people saw that you are not somebody to be bullied, they treated you like a human fucking being. You weren't everybody's punching bag. You weren't the butt of the joke. And so that is why I am the way I am. Maybe there's a little bit of autism in there. Maybe there's a little bit of toxic masculinity. I don't know. But it is why I am the way I am. And I've carried that strategy through life, which is just like, if someone's like trying to fuck with me, I'm going to confront them right away. And, you know, I'm trying to learn other de-escalatory tactics as well, chat. We'll see.
Secretly begging for me to take him back behind the scenes. I've taken a lot of steps already. As I said, it's apparent. I've taken a lot of steps to restructure my life and be a lot more careful about who I help and who I invest my time.
I'm the same, but it sucks online because when you stand up for yourself, everyone else goes, wow, stop causing trouble to this polite community that allowed you to be bullied because we're all too ignorant to recognize the bullying. Yeah, I know. I mean, it happens to me.
I'm in my Karen too, and I'm doing a lot better now. I felt like this was a necessary stream because, like I said at the very beginning, I have heard that he has done things to other people aligned with some of my own experiences, so I felt like it would be wrong for me to keep holding on to all this information.
Nice, other bees.
I know I stayed for way too long, and I thought that I could help, and I unfortunately learned that I couldn't. I worked really hard to have the life that I have now with my friends, my family, my pets, and my community, and I'm so grateful for how things are now. It was very difficult, but I'm very proud of myself for making the choices that I did to end up where I am now. And yeah, that's my story of dealing with abuse, psychological and domestic abuse, sexual assault, and stalking, and being threatened on if, you know, I ever talked about it. And this whole time it's been kind of hidden in plain sight away from hundreds of thousands of people. And yeah, I know that me saying all of this probably isn't gonna make him or what's left of his community leave me alone, but sorry, voice crack. I know talking about this probably won't make him or
Thank you, Neurotender. I try, man.
Probably won't make him or what remains of his community leave me alone, but I'm at least glad that people will be aware of all of this now, and I won't have to feel like I'm hiding a terrible dark secret anymore. And it's all out there now. And I also want to make it clear that not everyone that I interact with or that I'm friends with knew the extent of the things that were happening, and a lot of streamers didn't really know anything at all. But I mean, like I said before, people aren't stupid. I think it's pretty clear that a lot of people knew that things were happening, and like I said, you have to remember, it's not just me. A lot of people have told me that they have their own, you know, grievances with him. For the people who did know about this, thank you for being there for me through all of this and supporting me and cheering me on. And there were a lot of people as well who, even though they didn't know anything, without asking any questions, they still were very kind and supportive, and I will always remember that for the rest of my life. I also want to say, just so people know, that I'm not just trying to like put this out there and then, you know, I am already in the process of filing a restraining order on him in both Texas and California. And I also wanted to say that I would not be surprised if he tries to sue me for this stream that I did today and for coming out about him. not because he thinks that he would win, but for PR reasons, like a slap lawsuit.
A slap lawsuit means a strategic lawsuit against public participation. That's what that means. So basically you sue someone to shut them up. And they're called slap lawsuits because a lot of states have something called anti-slap laws, which are designed to make it easier for victims of slap lawsuits to defend themselves and get them thrown out of court faster and then have their legal fees paid.
It'd be interesting if that happened, and I wouldn't be opposed to people finding out more of the truth and things that I didn't even talk about today and what else he's been lying about. And I'm sure there's also plenty of things that even I don't know about. And yeah, there's more things that I didn't even talk about today, but I'm hoping that now that I have this out, this is the last time I ever have to talk about it. And I can be like, okay, I got it out there. I'm not withholding this anymore. It's out there. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Definitely not how I would have liked to spend my Saturday. I would have loved to go to karaoke with my friends or something like that instead.
The thing about her is she's not like your typical victim in the sense that she has the means and the support network to stand up against her abuser.
All people like karaoke, right, guys? Yeah, I think that's it. I'm probably gonna take some time off. I'm not sure. Like, I genuinely have no idea what the response to this all is gonna be like. I really just wanna, like I said, do my best to move on from this, because I've already been doing that for a year. Like I said, I feel like that's pretty clear. That's pretty much it. Thank you guys for today. I asked my editor if he would put this on YouTube for if you guys want to look at, you know, any of the things that I shared today. But like I said, all of the streams that I referred to today are public. You can easily find them. And all the people that I mentioned today gave me permission to mention them. Except I think I mentioned Mr. Beast, oops, but I mean, he's not involved. Yeah, I don't know. I never thought that I would be doing this stream, so it feels really weird to have done it, and it's over now. Now you guys know everything, and all the things I've been holding in for the past couple years. So yeah, thank you guys for listening. Hopefully I'll be able to keep giving updates on the TwitchCon stuff, but I'm hoping to put this other chapter behind me. And like I said, I don't know what's gonna happen. I feel very confident that this was the right thing to do. I don't regret any of it. Thank you guys. I'm gonna go spend time with my friends, and hopefully I will see you guys all very soon. Thank you for everything. I guess that's it.
I think this is a long time and necessary like moment in Twitch where we take and confront the misogyny and the hatred toward women that is normalized here, and we all start to fucking stand up to it. And we stand up to homophobia, we stand up to transphobia, and we say this is fucking weird. I saw a video of Mizkif that really pissed me off. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I tweeted about it, and I said, I'm so tired of seeing the casual misogyny. By the way, and a bunch of fucking weirdo misogynists got into my tweets, caught into my replies. Look at this.
I was terrified. I couldn't understand what was happening. My viewers were dropping, Maya's were only going up. And there was a part of me that thought that I was gonna, and I don't know if it was my ego or what, but I couldn't take it. I felt like shit. And I was on the phone with Austin, and then XQC, I somehow got on a call with him, and he talked to me for hours, making me feel better. And I genuinely, after talking to him, felt a lot better. And I don't think he even realizes what he did for me in that call, but he really did help me a lot. I was nonstop. It's all I could think about is, but then he reminded me that women have a cap, and felt a lot better after that. So thank you to XQC. And also I admire him a lot as a streamer. He definitely sets the bar when it comes to the amount of hours you're willing to put into streaming and the amount of time that you're willing to put. No one else does. I was terrified. I couldn't understand what was happening.
Did you see how casually they talk about women being smaller streamers as like there's a cap for women? Did you guys notice that? Oh, holy shit, what a raid from Denims. Can I just say thank you, Denims, for the raid. Denims is one of those creators who I really admire, and we bounce thoughts off of each other sometimes, and whenever I feel like I need an honest third party who's going to hold my feet to the fire, Denims is a great person for that. I respect Denims tremendously, and I have to say, I saw some of your Sunday stream going over some of the Mizkif shit, and it was legendary. And I was so happy that somebody like you was getting those, you know, what people call drama, but what really is discussing misogyny on Twitch. I was so glad that you were the one getting those views and not somebody like fucking Mizkif or some other disgusting right-wing slop tuber, but somebody who actually understands what it's like to be a woman on the internet. So thank you, Denims, for the raid. I really appreciate you. You're the best. Yo, you see this shit? I'm gonna marry Denims. Theo, why did you say that? Anyway, we just got done talking about the Emiru and Mizkif shit. We talked about misogyny on leftist Twitch earlier today, chat. I know it's something that Denims has gotten as well. Like, I've seen people saying shit about Denims that was 100% based on her being a woman. Like, I've heard people say Denims only gets viewers because of X, Y, and Z physical thing. And it's like, you're just jealous and you're fucking toxic. And it's weird. And I don't know if you saw it, chat, but Denims took down some of the misogyny on Sunday. I honestly, if you didn't see the Sunday stream of Denims, I do recommend you go out and check it out, because she took apart the sexism and misogyny of some of these streamers who were like attacking Vio and saying it's okay because Vio is connected to me. There's vastly more connection between Mike and Vio in this than there is between Grem and his moderator. What? The moderator directly harassing Vio, like, and Vio just being attacked because she's my partner, but only they know that because it was a pretty much, it was an open secret, but it was a secret. And they exposed that to justify their attacking of Vio through to get to me. Fucking weird. So that's textbook misogyny, and they called her hysterical, which was unbelievable. So thank you, Dennis, for going over that. I really do appreciate that. Hassan can change and is no longer an airplane farter? What? I saw you retweeted the Stav pic, but have you seen Stav locking in Zohran in 2020?
You have Greek people running in Astoria?
Well,
For,
I voted
state
against the Greek
assembly?
lady. I voted against.
Wow.
There's a
You
lady
Benedict
named
Arnold.
Aravella.
Yeah.
And I was like, hit the fucking baby.
You got that
Zohran,
guy?
yeah.
Was he chill?
Okay, first of all, motherfuckers, I've been on the Zohran train. I've been on the Zohran train too. This is bullshit. This is. I hope you don't find it immodest of me to say, but Mike was right about Zohran. You could literally go to my YouTube channel, in your age group, although 40, you look up Zohran and my Zohran's secret housing video exposed. Like, I'm talking about years and years and years ago. I talked about sewer socialism, urban planning for the left. I was a Zohran fucking supporter 4 years ago, 5 years ago. So don't you dare steal that credit. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Did you guys watch this speech yet? But you're not Hollywood famous, Mike? Oh. Anyway, chat. If you're a Denims viewer and if you're new to my stream, I do politics Monday to Friday. And I know I think Vio Denim streams, she does Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday every week, sometimes Thursday, right? That's usually Denim's schedule. So you got your Tuesdays, your Wednesdays open, then come on down to the Mike from PA stream. Mike is getting more famous than Brad Pitt. No. This is a good moment for Zohan's rally. So I wanted to cover this a little bit before we go. Maybe we'll do more coverage tomorrow so we could like get back to politics. Like, I want to be done with, I think everybody understands how I feel about some of these content creators on Twitch, right? Like people understand how I feel about some of these content creators on Twitch. You know, like if you're okay with misogyny, I'm not okay with you. I saw a clip of you taking accountability for a personal mistake and calling out BS of others attempting to establish false equivalency. Instant follow. Thanks for being real. Wow, thank you. I appreciate that. Listen. I am far from perfect. I get fired up. I get fired up. I get in my feelings. Sometimes I do that male thing where I'm yelling and I get aggressive and I go, you're Madge. But I try to hold myself to a higher standard. I try. Anyway, look at this shit, chat. Look at this shit. It's fucking insane. I honestly should have went. Thank you, DM Inverse. Maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow quickly. So Governor Hochul went to Zohran's rally, chat. Did you believe it? Centrist Governor Hochul went to Zohran's rally to endorse him, and the crowd chanted, "Tax the rich." Cuomo closes gap on Mamdani as New York City mayor's race tightens dramatically in new poll.
The victim.
I want you to know something, chat. This is not going to happen. They had them tied in the primary, and I said, nah, they're really underestimating him. He's probably already up. When Zohran was down by 10 points, I tweeted that they're probably already tied. And then when they had Zohran up a couple points, I said, this is underestimating. And the reason why is because I know how polling works. And in situations when turnout models are dramatically different than prior years, polling is going to be way off. And the turnout model for the mayoral race is going to be way off. There's no way. The pollster would have to make some sort of incredibly bold decision, which they don't do. Pollsters would rather cluster in the same type of error than make like actual assumptions that reflect reality. That's why polling is oftentimes error prone, because a lot of the results, the significant results, they are plagued by assumptional bias. And this is something that I've talked about for 5 years because I have designed polling myself. I have personally ran multiple different polls, like and I'm talking about phone polls where we called people on the phone, tens of thousands of people, and I paid tens of thousands of dollars to get it done. And I designed the polling questions, and I have done this myself. I know how to look at polls at a deep level that literally no one else on Twitch has done. No one has done polling like I have, which is why oftentimes I can give you some insights into why I think certain errors are likely. I think Zohran is very likely to break 60%. That's what I'm saying. I want to see Zohran somewhere around 58, 59, 60%. Have you seen the recent turnout? Huge numbers in Mamdani areas. Brooklyn turnout is up 634%. Morning Joe betting the knee to Zohran.
There, I did it right. And they've been Bernie Sanders. And what do they have in common? They have a populist message. And yes, people are going to say, oh, they're socialists, they're socialists, they're socialists. Yeah, they said that about Barack Obama, too. Yeah. And he kicked Republicans' ass twice. So it's that populist message that they're putting out there that there are times that even Steve Bannon goes, yeah, what AOC's saying there, I agree with. And a lot of people, like in the populist wing of the MAGA party, agree with a lot of that stuff, too. Same thing with Lisa Khan and what she was doing about breaking up monopolies. There is a lane for populist Democrats to run in and to win. Mamdani.
For 12 years, this has been the popular place to shit on the left. For 12 years, this has been the popular place to shit on the left. Every single person on this screen is an anti-left winger. And even they are bending the motherfucking knee. They are bending the fucking knee. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Ugh. I'm sorry, I'm closing all these Mizkif tags. Oh, I wanted to show you guys this real quick.
I'd like me.
I know this is so this Jay's from the internet guy threatened to kill me, and it's like Jay's from the internet viewers also watch. And I didn't notice this till the other day. Oh, you guys can't see? Sorry. Hold on. You're right. Hold on. Let me crop this a little bit. Jay's from the internet viewers also watch. Bro. Streamer threatens murder to defend human traffickers. Others agree with him. Disgusting. I mean, this is when this is before Bad and Panada got addicted to the anti-Hassan clout. Like, you can literally see how the YouTube algorithm makes you a useful idiot for the right wing. Bad and Panada's descent into anti-Hassan, like, slop. It's actually sad. It's actually sad. And like, I get hating America because of the Gaza genocide, but you think Argentina is complicit. They're supportive of Netanyahu. Europe is complicit. They're supportive of Netanyahu. Every major country in the world is complicit. And it's like very weird to be like, oh no, it's not my fault Australia is complicit. Let me say it's Americans leftists who are especially bad. It's just bad politics, man. All right, where were we? Oh gosh, I really want to watch. It's so late. It's so fucking late. I don't feel like we could do this before I have to go. This was a strong kick from Hassan. Oh, yeah, I wanted to this be the end of the Mizkif arc.
Let me try. I've never done this before.
This is gonna be good.
Yeah. I almost hit him with my chest. I'm sorry.
I knew
Is that okay?
No, your Poshcourt's gonna love that.
That was good.
That was my bad.
Oh, you knocked the wind out of me.
Never forget, early voting begins today. Vote Andrew Cuomo and save our city. Okay, I want to say something, chat, that this is more disrespectful to 9/11 than anything Hassan has ever said. They have an actual photograph of a victim of 9/11 falling to their death, and they're posting it. This is the most disrespectful shit I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. This is fucking insane. This is vile. Like, this is absolutely fucking vile. Like, it's not even funny. Like, he can't even make fun of this. It's so fucking absurd. He is a Muslim immigrant, and you're saying, therefore, we're going to do 9/11 if he wins? What the fuck is this? Former U.S. Deputy Special Envoy to combat anti-Semitism under POTUS Trump 45. In other words, I'm sorry, chat, but Israeli agent. Like, outrageous. Nobody working under Trump cares about anti-Semitism. They care about silencing pro-Palestinian advocates and equating pro-Palestinian advocacy with anti-Semitism. Don't make this a New York City war between Muslims and Jews, says Jeff Weisenfeld of the World Jewish Congress. This is a war between the Jewish people, the decent people of the city, the Italians, the blacks, the Hispanics, the Irish, the Chinese, and the Koreans, and jihadists like you. What the fuck? Jesus. Now this is just right-wing identity politics. What the fuck is this? Jesus. So if you're in New York City, you better be there on day fucking 1 voting, and then for the rest of this week, you better be out there doing GOTV. I swear to fucking God. This is the okay. So let's get back to the rally. The reception of AOC. We're canvassing, King. Alyssa. Hey, Alyssa. You guys better be canvassing. You better be canvassing. Every single person you have ever talked to who is like, I kind of like Mamdani, you better have them by the scruff of the fucking neck voted. Okay? I want anybody who ever uttered in a single thought out loud positive about Mamdani, they better have fucking voted. I want 100% turnout among even the mildest Mamdani supporter, okay? The canvassers, the early voters, the socialists, the people who have no idea what's going on. Did you see how wild early voting turnout was compared to 4 years ago? Yeah, we actually, just before you got here, we were looking at the early turnout by borough. Brooklyn is up 634%. We are not dodging the Brooklyn socialist stereotype. In fact, we're leaning in. I don't give a fuck. Lean in to the commie corridor. You better show me how communist you are. And by the way, if you're in New York City and you're like, oh, I'm a revolutionary communist, Mamdani is too lib for me, you better fucking vote anyway. You better fucking vote anyway. What you need to understand is that Mamdani is a dagger to the heart of AIPAC. I have a lot of problems with him. There's a bunch of policies I'm going to disagree with him on. I'm sure he's going to disappoint me like any other politician, but it is a public acknowledgement that the AIPAC doesn't even control New York City. It is a dagger to the heart of AIPAC, and that is far more valuable than whatever quixotic fucking factional take you might have about Zohran Mamdani. This is a knife to the heart of the pro-Israel lobby. So you better be out there. You better be busting your fucking ass. You're not impressing anyone. If you won't show up now, who are you kidding yourself? You'll never showing up for anything. MAGA for Mamdani. Mamdani's Forest Hill Stadium event marked the first time Ron ever attended a political rally. This guy excites me, getting more money from the rich and kind of funneling down. I think it's a good thing. It's going to be very hard, but why wouldn't we try it? Average American brain. Who cares if it doesn't make sense? Who cares if this does not actually make sense? Okay? He sees Mamdani and he's pulled in that direction. This is how people change their minds. Don't you understand that movements are made up of incomplete people? This is something I want you to understand, that I think a lot of Twitch virtue signaling or online virtue signaling leftists, so-called, don't understand. Every movement is made up of incomplete and flawed people. There is no one who is a complete person. That's called a saint. I don't know any, okay? And so this guy saying, hey, this man maybe flirting with these ideas. This is how you change someone from a bigot to supporting a Muslim socialist. If that doesn't excite you, instead of you being like, ew, you should be looking at this and going, fuck yes, because he's supporting the most pro-trans candidate, Mamdani. He's supporting the most anti-imperialist elected we have right now. He's supporting an anti-APAC candidate. He's supporting public health care. He's supporting all of these issues by supporting Mamdani. And this is the thing about electoral politics that I think is so important. And this is what I think ultras underestimate, is that is where the masses are. That is where the masses are. That is where regular fucking people are. And when you could show them socialists winning, and let me tell you something, chat. I know that a lot of people in the online left, the upper middle class intelligentsia leftists, the ones who went to grad school, they lived lives of relative material security. You don't go to grad school without having at least some material security. All right. Let's just be fucking honest with ourselves. All right. Very easy for them to look at the achievements of communist states, socialist states, and social democratic states and trade unions and go, oh, those are just minor concessions. That isn't socialism. Who cares? There's a Parenti video that I like to show. It's on reading, where he says, do you know what it's like to be able to read? Literacy. Oh, let me find it. Oh, no. Oh, here it is. Thank God.
Well, the Soviet Union couldn't be an exact model for us. It has a whole different tradition, history. It's had a very unluxurious history. It's had a very difficult, terrible, horrendous history. So we couldn't use it as a model. We have a different level of prosperity. What I would say is this. You could look at any existing socialist country. If you don't want to call them socialists, call them whatever you want. Post-capitalist, whatever. I don't care. Call them camels, window shades. Doesn't matter. As long as you know the countries we're talking about. You can look at any one of those countries, and you can evaluate them in several ways. One, comparing them to what they had before. And that, to me, is what's very compelling. That's what's so compelling about Cuba, for instance. When I was in Cuba, I was up in the Escambray, which is like the Appalachia of Cuba, very rugged mountains, people very poor they were. And I said to this campesino, I said, do you like Fidel? And he said, sí, with all our soul. I remember his gesture, with all our soul. I said, why? And he pointed to this clinic right up there on the hill, which we had visited. He said, look at that. He said, before the revolution, we never saw a doctor. If someone was seriously ill, it would take 20 people to carry that person, because you'd go day and night. It would take 2 days to get to the hospital. First, because it was far away, and second, because you couldn't go straight. You couldn't cross the latifundio lands. The boss would kill you, so you had to go like this. And often when we got to the hospital, the person might be dead by the time we got there. Now we have this clinic up here with a full-time doctor. And today, a doctor in Cuba, when you become a doctor, you've got to spend 2 years out in the country. That's your dedication to the people. And a dentist who comes 1 day a week. And for more serious things, we're not more than 20 minutes away from a larger hospital. That's in the Escambray. So that's freedom. We're freer today. We have more life. And I talked to a guy in Havana who says to me, before, all I used to see here in Havana, you call this drab and dull. We see it as a cleaner city. It's true, you got the paint is peeling off the walls, but you don't see kids begging in the streets anymore, and you don't see prostitutes. All we used to have was prostitutes. Prostitution used to be one of the biggest industries. And today, this man is going to night school. He said, I can read. I can read. Do you know what it means to be able to read? Do you know what it means to be able not to read? I remember when I gave my book to my father, I dedicated a book of mine, Power and the Powerless, to my father. I said, to my father with my love. Gave him a copy of the book. He opened it up, looked at that. He'd only gone to the 7th grade. He was a son of an immigrant, a working-class Italian. And he opens the book, and he starts looking through it, and he gets misty-eyed, very misty-eyed. And I thought it's because he was so touched that his son had dedicated a book to him. That wasn't the reason.
I'm sorry I'm getting misty-eyed. The reason why this always makes me tear up is because my grandfather was 14 when he started working in the coal mines because his father had died in a collapse. And he was an extraordinary man. He he became the man of the house. He learned how to read. Or then in 1939, when World War II started, he was originally Scottish, who was an immigrant, and he went back. He volunteered to go back to fight the Nazis. He didn't have to do that. And he became a pilot in the RAF. And he was shot down in the Battle of France and captured. So before America, and he was heavily wounded. And before America entered the war, wouldn't enter the war for 18 more months, he was in a stalag. And it was the Soviet army that liberated him. I think about that a lot. That my life, I only exist because of that man. And the incredible risks he took fighting for what is right, way beyond what he had to do, what he was forced to do. And then he came back to Western Pennsylvania, and he raised a family, and he was a trade unionist. And he ended up dying, a relatively young man in his 60s, because of the toll that sacrifice had taken upon him. And my mother was his 10th child. So this, I think about him because I only really got a few years, as a young child with him and hearing his stories, and how my life was so blessed because of all the sacrifices that he gave me and my family. So I don't think concessions won by trade unionism or the material benefits that the revolution gives working class people are something that you can so easily fucking dismiss. Hey, Hugo. Hey, Gopnik. 2 raids in one day? What am I, popular? 2 raids in one day? What is this? It looks like I've got friends. Honestly, chat, and I mean this all due respect. The people that are associated with this community are people of the highest quality. I don't endorse Yagopnik. I don't endorse Denims. I don't endorse Hassan because of clout. I don't give a fuck about clout. Okay? I endorse people because I know them to be good people. I don't do it because I'm interested in some sort of fucking like clout network or whatever. I do it because these are people that are true believers who want to make the world a better place, who choose what is right over what is convenient every time. That's the culture I want to build on Twitch. That is the group of people I want to be a part of. And I want nothing to do with the people that will do what's wrong because it's convenient. Good people with a good message. So make sure you hit that follow button on Yagopnik. Anyway, back to this. Sorry, I was getting misty-eyed thinking about this stuff. And one of the things I hate is I have my disagreements with Zohran. I'm sure he's going to do a bunch of shit to piss me off. But I don't want you to deny yourself the beauty of victory. The beauty of seeing AIPAC fucking destroyed. One of the most well-known Democratic governors in the country, surrounded by billionaires from both sides of the aisle, is getting his ass kicked by a 33-year-old Muslim socialist. How do you make that into an L? I don't want to be part of a movement that turns that into an L. If you're turning that into an L, you are not okay. That is a fucking win. Take it. And then we take Zohran and we push him to the left and we show him that more concessions for the working class is the path to power.
He looks up to me and says, I can't read this, kid. I said, that's okay, Dad. Neither can the students. I mean, that's not something. I mean, don't worry about that. I wrote it for you. I mean, it's your book, and you don't have to read it. You know, it's a very complicated book, academic book. I said, yeah, I can't read this book. And the defeat that man felt. That's what illiteracy is about. That's what the joy of literacy programs is. That's why in Nicaragua you got people walking proud now for the first time. They were animals before. They weren't allowed to read. They weren't taught to read. So you compare a country to what it came from with all its imperfections. And those who demand instant perfection, the day after the revolution, they get up and say, are there civil liberties for the fascists? Are they going to be allowed to have their newspapers
Thanks,
and their
Yagopnik.
radio
Love you too,
program?
brother.
Are they going to be able to keep all their farms? The passion that some of our liberals feel, the day after the revolution, the passion and concern they feel for the fascists, the civil rights and civil liberties of those fascists who were dumping and destroying and murdering people before. Now the revolution has got to be perfect. It's got to be flawless. Well, that isn't my criteria. My criteria is what happens to those people who couldn't read. What happens to those babies that couldn't eat, that died of hunger? And that's why I support revolution. The revolution that feeds the children gets my support. Blindly, not unqualifiedly. And the Reaganite government that tries to stop that kind of process, that tries to keep those people in poverty and illiteracy and hunger, that gets my undiluted animosity and opposition. So that was my answer to you. Let's not judge these countries by some abstract model, but where they're coming from. So you can judge a socialist country, one, by what it's replacing. Two, you can judge it by comparing it to U.S. society, and there, in some areas, you know, there's a higher level of production of goods and prosperity here, although it's very unequally distributed. The poor are the fastest growing social group in America, from 24 to 35 million. That's growth since 1980. And three, you can judge a socialist country by an abstract model of what you might ultimately want. By the way, that's not illegitimate. I shouldn't have said impose that. That's a reasonable thing to do in a certain way, not to damn the country and to be holier than thou, but to say that there are aspirations, there are new forms of social relations we hope we can move to someday. There are places in Nicaragua.
Well, there are people that they're against those projects. But I will say this, chat. The Chinese ambassador to the U.S. just put out this video about sanitation workers. Today is China's 38th Sanitation Workers Day. A salute to our artists of the streets. I want to live in a society where sanitation workers are given their due respect. All right, where were we? The AOC chants. Listen, I think I'm never against principled criticism, but I also think that you can't allow yourself to become a lifestylist separated from the masses. And I think being a lifestyle separated from the masses, listen, there is a social media incentive for always positioning yourself as the one true leftist. This is actually something people criticize me for because I do not turn my back completely on electoral politics. Even though I am very sympathetic for all sorts of far left positions and arguments and theory, I don't turn my back on electoral politics because that's where the masses are. And I want to have my hand grabbing the most left-wing electoral politicians in the country and pulling them to the left and boosting them up. That is my project because I want to build a left-wing momentum. We're much more likely to get a workers' party. We're much more likely to get exactly what we all say we need if left-wing politicians look to be super popular and win. Here is Zohran introducing Hakeem Jeffries, or seeing him in the crowd.
And I must say this now, as uncomfortable as it may be, the chief guest this evening is the leader of the House Democratic Caucus. He's Congressman Hakeem Jeffries. And Congressman Jeffries has yet to call for a ceasefire. Congressman Jeffries has said that he seriously supports President Biden's request for an additional $14 billion in military funding for Israel. And I must ask Congressman Jeffries, how many more Palestinians must be killed before you call for a ceasefire? How many more? And I must say this now, as uncomfortable as it may be.
Do you know what it looks like when this man wins? You know the fear it puts into the hearts of our enemies? The New York Post is being fed information from a, quote, foreign intelligence service on Zohran Mamdani's early career. Gee, I wonder which country. However, it was Hamas-supporting Palestinian-American firebrand Sarsour who helped nurture the 34-year-old into the radical mayoral frontrunner he is today, according to a foreign intelligence service report obtained by the Post. Hey, guys, pop quiz. Which progressive creator has been attacking Linda Sarsour for 5 years? Wow, 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 wow. What creator are you like? Why do they have millions of followers? No one I know likes this guy. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow. Oh, I see the David Pac-Man. Oh, it looks like I searched it before. Look at how many videos he made about her. Women's March leaders even more anti-Semitic than previously thought. Women's March cuts ties with founders accused of anti-Semitism. Bernie has a toxic surrogate that needs to go. The Women's March has an anti-Semitism problem. Yes, Women's March founder calls for leaders to resign. Foreign intelligence service has been monitoring Zohran for being allied with Linda Sarsour. And there's David Pac-Man. The intelligence services are in our spaces. It is what it is. All right, chat. I'm gonna fucking lose my voice. What, are you streaming? Oh, yeah. I guess we could raid somebody, huh? I got 2 raids today, so I feel like I should be raiding people, right? Anyway, chat. It's been a difficult stream. It's been a difficult stream and a painful stream. And I know that when we have like friends that we care about, and they show and well, we thought they were friends, you know what I mean? We thought people were on the same path as us, and it turns out that it wasn't the case, and we have to go our separate ways. It is painful, it is difficult, but I feel like I have to be honest with all of you about why things are happening. And if you decide that you don't like the way that I stand up for myself and you decide to leave, I'd rather that happen. Because I could only be myself in a way where I feel that I can stand up for myself and I can stand up for my friends and my partner, and my audience will respect me. I never want to have an audience that I feel scared is going to leave me if I stand up for myself and I stand up for what I believe is right. So I'd rather pay the penalty now for my values. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for all the support. Stay safe out there. Appreciate all of you. I'm sorry for the painful ass streams the last week. We'll be back to politics full fucking time. We're back to politics. We're going to turn our backs on this shit. I promise to give you the content that you actually want, which is me talking about the incredibly awesome shit that's happening and the incredibly dire shit that's happening here and all over the world. I'm going to send you guys, gals, non-binary pals over to Little Bear 36, one of my favorite leftist streamers in the Hasanabi circle. Thank you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for all the support. Really means a lot. And I hope you understand why I felt I needed to do what I did. I'm sorry that I did it. I'm sorry that I let it get to this point. I should have spoken out sooner, but it is what it is. And we're going to fight misogyny. We're going to fight sexism every step of the way here. We're going to fight transphobia. We're going to fight to make this space comfortable for everybody. Oh, Little Bear's offline? Oh, Theo, Little Bear's offline. All right, who else do we got? You know what, chat? Somebody who has gone through the ringer because they have tried to grow and reject their old, their old racist ways, who was mocked by Moist Critical for condemning their like old N-word Andy posts. Somebody who's trying to grow, somebody who's trying to be a better person. I want to reward that. I want to be supportive of that. So let's go over to iDubbbz. All right, everybody, stay safe. Growth is good. DSA raid in the chat. DSAL in the chat. Ooh, okay, come on, man. All right, everybody, stay safe. I'll see you out there tomorrow for your politics content. All right, everybody, peace out.